a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
All right, everybody, welcome. It is that day of the month. It is the PWCC Premier Auction ending watch party for March the 21st, 2024. My name is Jeremy Lee, and I am joined by, there he is, I am joined by my partner, Adam Gray. Adam, it's your favorite day of the month. How have you been? What's going on? Big auction tonight.
Man, I'm great. I've got no complaints. Life is really good. And you're right. It's such a great night to hang out together. Some really fun auctions tonight. And so excited to hit it.
Me too. Want to welcome everybody who is here with us so far. We are streaming on Instagram. If you're watching on Instagram, welcome. Feel free to come over to YouTube for the full experience. We are streaming to Facebook. We're streaming to LinkedIn, YouTube, of course, Twitch, Twitter, all the platforms. Want to welcome everybody. And Adam, the hobby is nonstop. There's just a constant pipeline of things to talk about, whether it's at the industry level, whether it's in the area of drama, whether it's in the area of grading, in the area of big cards being pulled and bounties and all this stuff. But we come together here once a month and we focus on the cards. And we have 112 items in the premiere tonight. Like you said, there's some fun ones, and I'm excited to get into them. There's some beauties. There's a few interesting things going on with some of these cards tonight. I've done a bit of research into some of them, but let's get into it. What do you think? And anything else you'd like to get out of the way before we start?
One of the things that I look forward to most is you and I don't do a lot of planning as far as like what we're going to talk about as far as the cards go. We, just to let people see behind the curtain a little bit, we basically show the cards and then we talk about what we think about them, why they matter, why they're appealing, why they're not appealing. And I just love those conversations. That's why I like it. It's fun to see what stuff is worth, but we talk a lot more about like at least I feel like we talk a lot more about why we like him and why we don't. And to me, that's the fun part of the show.
Well, that's what I enjoy about this, is looking at the cards and assessing for myself. Is this a card that I would like to add to my collection? Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't fit into my collection, because I don't collect modern day quarterbacks, for example, I think about whose collection does it fit into? And is it a card for those sorts of people, for them to decide, of course. But I like to kind of put myself in other people's shoes with some of these cards and appreciate a beautiful auto, appreciate an amazing patch, or just the hollow foil. The beautiful design of a card itself can sometimes trump who's on the card. And I would never suggest that, but sometimes I'm looking at a card, it's like, I don't know much about this player, but what a beautiful card. If you collect this guy, how can you not want this card, sort of thing? It is fun. And that is what I enjoy about the show as well. Let's say hello. Scott Pope is with us. Scott, welcome to the show. Gennady is here. Wants to know, what does the LeBron and Bronny go for? If that's the first card in the auction tonight, Gennady, we will find out soon. Michael Steinberg is here. What's going on, Michael? Vintage card collector. Good evening. West Texas is here. Yes, let's get it. And Zach Swisher is here. You guys are all in the early shift. We welcome you. And well, let's get into it, Adam. I'm looking at my other screen. I can see the bids starting to come up on the side there. So let's share the screen. And before we do, I want to let everybody know that extended bidding starts in 25 minutes. All access extended bidding. So you can bid now. But the interesting thing with extended bidding is that if you're the high bidder going into extended bidding and there's no bids on the card, no further bids, you're going to win that card for what it is. Now, it works different than the weekly. The weekly, they all end one at a time. The premier, they all end at once. So you might be biting your nails a little bit, wondering if there's going to be any bids coming. But let's bring up the screen, say a quick hello to Jay Hollanda. Welcome, Jay, to the show, watching on LinkedIn. And let's bring up the auction, Adam. Here we have it. This is the premiere. Here's the card. Here's the card that Gennady was talking about right off the bat. Been a lot of attention on this card, a dual autograph from Bowman U Chrome, the Superfractor, 1/1, LeBron James and Bronny James. Adam, you talked about this card a little bit on your Instagram account. Why don't you share some thoughts on it again right now?
Yeah, I think this is one of those cards that for a lot of reasons people look at and they go, oh, you know what? Actually, I'm going to sort of say bad things about it because that's the cool thing to do. Maybe it's because it's not NBA licensed, or maybe it's because it's, people are like, oh, I don't know how good Bronny will be. But I think sometimes people miss the point on a card like this by saying what it isn't rather than what it is. Like, this is the very first non-upper deck autograph LeBron James card. Period. Like, it's the first one. And it's one that we've spoken about a lot in the hobby, to the point where, Jeremy, we get 10 years from now, you and I will both remember this card. There's not a lot of those cards out there that we can talk about with that sort of certainty. It's this very interesting father and son combination. It's a Superfractor, right? I think LeBron, before this card was made, has something like 35 Superfractors in existence, period, across all the brands. And so you look at all those things that it is, and you start going, you know what, actually, I do see why this is as important as it is. I've heard some people say, oh, I wouldn't want that in my collection because I don't know how good LeBron or Bronny is going to be. And I think that's insane. Personally, for me, it's literally one of my favorite cards in the auction. And it's the card of the auction that I think we'll look back at and go, that was the card of the auction, because it's had this sort of significance around it building this last couple of months.
And especially if Bronny actually goes on to have a career, a noteworthy career in the NBA, that would certainly, I think, cement this card as their very first dual auto. Like you said, the 1/1 Superfractor. It's funny, Bronny looks older than LeBron in this picture. Maybe he was. I'm sure some of you know the answer to that. Gennady actually says he saw the card in person at the Philly show. Very underrated card. Looks much better in person. And Jay says, I won't forget this one. All right. Interesting stuff. Let's move along. We've got a Mike Trout Bowman Chrome Red Refractor. This is numbered 5/5. This exact card. So right now we're at 150,000 on the bid, which with buyer's premium is 180. This exact card, guys, sold in October of 2020. Guess how much? Adam, do you know?
I remember one selling for really close to $1 million. Was this it?
Yeah, a little over, but close. $1,080,000 in October of 2020. Exact copy. And it looks like, well, we don't know. The auction has a ways to go, but I have a feeling it's going to sell for much less than $1,080,000. How much less? We will find out within a few hours. Very interesting card to come up again here tonight. We have a 2004 Kobe Bryant limited logos, a BGS 9 numbered out of 50. Adam, you love Kobe, you love Exquisite, you love basketball. You are the editor-in-chief of the Basketball Card Fanatic magazine. Tell us, just say a few words about this card.
This one's an easy one to talk about for me because it's actually a card that is one of the centerpieces of my collection. I've owned my copy since 2016, and so that tells you how I feel about it. It's probably, this is kind of I don't want to say something that's controversial. I think this is true. It's probably the best known Kobe Exquisite card by name. You can just say it's the Kobe Exquisite, the point card. And because if you sort of zoom in on that image there, Jeremy, there's a wonderful image of Kobe that's sort of pointing right back at you. It has a certain flair to it. There's another version of the card, but you get this great smile and this great look on Kobe's face. And then, you've seen these in person, Jeremy. The hollow foil is incredible. It's also on the serial number. The autograph's fantastic. The patch is fantastic. But I know we have a goal to get through this quickly. I don't think we've ever had another card in the auction. I just want to say this real quick. I don't think we've ever had a card in the auction that was more likely to be bought by the player that's featured on the card than the LeBron and Bronny card. I really do think that. Like, if there was ever a card that LeBron was going to buy, that's the card. And I think that's really cool too. And it's a non-zero chance. And so that card, somebody, I think it was Gennady, asked the question, or Gennady said, what's that going to go for? No one has any idea, but that's the one that I think we're most interested in watching tonight.
Well, Okay, so are you telling me that LeBron is watching us right now and kind of
Should be.
hearing what we're saying? To LeBron, if you're out there, welcome to the show, buddy. Feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to have you on as a guest on Sports Cards Live and the PWCC show one time. But in any event, good luck to you, LeBron. I hope you win the card if it is something you are after tonight. All right, this Kobe card, this exact card, Adam, also sold in December of 2022 for $55,200. So that's interesting to hear. We're at 38 now, which is encroaching upon 55.2. So it's not that far away. All right, continuing on, we've got a 2017 Bowman Chrome Red Refractor Acuña. You can pick up the Acuña and the Trout in the same auction here tonight. We're sitting at $50,000. And yet again, Adam, another example of the exact card selling. This exact card sold in November of 2022. You want to guess how much?
For the Acuña?
Yeah.
80 grand?
$108,000. This card, exact copy, sold for. The exact copy, that's November. So get this, November 22, the card sells for 108. In April of 23, so a year ago, the same card sold for 78,000. And here it is again for the third time. It's at $50,000 right now. And, 50 is 60 with buyer's premium. Will it get to 78 like it did back in April 2023? Time will tell. But there we go. A nice Acuña card. And this might be the lowest you're going to have to pay for this card going back a couple of years. The next one, Adam, big card. We've seen a few of these lately. We've seen it at auction a few times in the past 4 or 5 months. This is the 98 Skybox Premium Star Rubies Michael Jordan, numbered out of 50, a card that often goes kind of head to head with the PMGs and even some of the championship PMG as being, one of the most beautiful and most important Jordan cards that exist that is not an auto patch or mem card. And I personally think this card is beautiful, especially when you hold it under light and you move it around. It's just a wonderful, wonderful card. I do have some comp info on this, and this one's interesting, Adam. So this is a PSA 9. I don't think we've seen a PSA 9 sell in the public domain. With that said, between November and December 2023, we saw 3 copies sell. November 23, we saw a PSA 7 sell for $216,000. December 23, we saw a PSA 8 sell for $186,000. Higher grade, came down in price compared to the PSA 7 a month earlier. And then a few days later, a PSA 6 in December of last year sold for $158,600. Now here we have a PSA 9 superior grade to those other 3. We're at $220, which is $244 with buyer's premium now. So it's already outselling those other 3 lower graded cards. By how much? That's the question I'm curious to see. What is this going to outsell that PSA 8 that sold for $186 back in December? I don't know. We will find out. Adam, your thoughts on this card?
Well, I like that you brought up the grade because I think that one of the things that I've noticed recently is I sort of always think maybe the grade will take a back seat to the overall market or whatever. But this card in a 9 is a huge deal because it's such a low population, and because I think that what we're seeing is there are people who want to be like they want to have the best Jordan cards, and then there's this other group that are like, I want to have the best conditioned of those best cards. So we're seeing some really kind of crazy prices. This isn't a Jordan, but a card from the 90s I recently helped sort of a collector buy that's putting together one of the rare 90s sets. If I mentioned it, everybody would probably know what the set is and probably know who the person is. But this guy paid so much money for a highest graded copy of a card. It was, Jeremy, this is crazy. It was about 5 times what the grade below it sold for or would sell for. We sort of guessed. And that's crazy, right? Like to me, it seems crazy that people spend so much for the highest graded, but it's not just owning the best cards. It's people who want to own the best condition of the best cards. And who am I to tell them they're crazy? Because they're putting together their sets and the things that in the ways that they like it. But I wonder if there's some of that same impact on a card like this, if that's why it is so much more. And then I wonder, and this is the big question, Jeremy, like how many people actually want this card at that level to where it, to see how high it could go, because it could be that there's just like one person and then it doesn't go crazy high. But if there's two people who both really want it and they know this is their chance, then you really never know what happens. And we'll see tonight which of those two sort of stories that it is.
All right. Well, Jay Holanda, he just said, I want to hear some guesses where the Rubies will end. So let's serve them up. I'm going to take I have no idea, because like this is a very special copy of this card, because we don't have a comp on this card in the public database. So with that said, I'm going to take a guess, Adam, that the final bid, like the pre-buyer's premium bid, is going to be in that 270 range. That's my wild guess. But if this thing went for 4, I wouldn't be that surprised, because of the weight people put on the high grade. And I don't think there's any 10s in the population. So with that said, and I'm not confirmed, but I'll check that. That's my guess, around 270 or so. I'm going to make sure and see if there are any higher, Adam, while you go with your guess on the value, if you're willing to.
When we were talking about the LeBron Bronny, I almost called it a high standard deviation card. This is a high standard deviation card. Like you just said, that if you gave me a range of where it is now to 450, I would say that's a good range. And
right,
within standard deviation. And that's it. I know that's insane. That's totally a cop out. But Jay, like, this is so tough, man. This is like such a hard card to value. I think Jeremy's probably pretty spot on there. But honestly, if it stopped where it is now, it wouldn't shock me. But if it went up another 100 to 150 grand, it wouldn't shock me either.
It's a pop 3, no PSA 10s in the population. All right, 2009 National Treasures Gold Steph Curry RPA, numbered out of 25, BGS 9.5. It's a pop 12. And I have some information on this one too. First thing I'll tell you is this patch is very nice. There are others that are, kind of that I found that they look nice too, but not as nice as this one with all the breaks and the angles and all that. But what I found on this card was that in January of 2023, so just over a year ago, a card with a lesser patch sold for $204,000. That was the only like post-pandemic or pandemic, post-pandemic comp that I could find. After that, you go back to December 2017, Adam, this card, you could have had it for $32,200, and April 2016, $35,100. So this card has definitely, gone up in value about 5 times from pre-pandemic, and it's probably come down from the pandemic time, but it's still up 500% since 2017. That's a pretty good growth chart right there when you zoom out. In any event, we're at 140K. I think it's a gorgeous card, Adam, and it's gold out of 25. His regular RPA is out of 99. What are your thoughts on this one?
Second best RPA in existence after the LeBron Exquisite. Probably, if not the most iconic card of the Panini era. I'm just going to say it. It is the most iconic card of the Panini era. The only other card that you'd probably mention in the same breath is the Luka Prism. But this is the beginning of the Panini era. Remember, Steph has rookies in Topps and Upper Deck, and then a few months later, when Panini took over, we got cards like this. It's certainly the most iconic National Treasures card ever made. And so I'm glad you pointed out that it was the gold out of 25. I sort of stopped. I didn't even look at the description because I saw that patch. And then I went to the autograph, because we've seen some autographs where the autograph gets into the patch a little bit. And we've sort of agreed on that. It really messes with your eyes when you see it. I didn't love this card when it was close to $1 million. I love this card now. I love this card now. I'd love to add
140. All right. Michael Hathaway says the NT Steph is cheap right now. He says, don't think it goes crazy, but that patch should bring it higher. Makes good sense. And good evening to you, Mr. Hathaway. Zach Swisher wants to talk to LeBron too. I don't blame you, Zach. I don't blame you. Vintage likes the Jordan Ruby, says it's a classic, but the grade, back corner touch, ouch, not sure it would grade higher than a 7 today. So make sure you're having a look at the Rubies, the front and the back. Jay Reed says, I'm just here to hear Jeremy Lee talk about a Gretzky rookie. Well, you're going to get your wish. I'm going to be doing that in due course here, Jay. Thanks for coming. Jay Holanda called. Yeah, it could be 250 or 400 on the Rubies. Depends on active bidders. Exactly, for sure. Okay, let's go to the next row, guys. We got a lot of cards to get through. Here's a 2017 National Treasures Patrick Mahomes NT RPA out of 99, BGS 9.5, 2-color patch. And what I found on this card was that we had a sale in December of 2023 for $60,000. So this one is at 72 now. The one in December sold for 60, but it was a weaker 2-color patch. This one has a lot, believe it or not, compared to the other one, this has a lot of yellow in it. The one that sold in December didn't. And in July of 2023, we had a 1-color sell for $55,200. We got a nice Pokemon card here. Looks like a character called Kangashkin, something like that. And then we have a really, really elusive 2015 Upper Deck the Cup Connor McDavid RPA gold, numbered out of 12, you guys. His parallel true rookie RPA from the Cup is at a 99. This is at a 12. It's at $50,000, and I couldn't find a single comp on this. If any of you found one, I congratulate you. I couldn't see anything on it, but Adam, any thoughts on these three before we roll on to the next row?
3 great cards. The only thing that I'll mention is the Mahomes. You're right about the patch. There's actually a lot that are 1 color. This is, I would say, an average patch. I wouldn't say it's above average, but I don't think it's too far below if it is below, just because there's so many 1 colors.
I didn't see any that and I'm trying to remember. I don't recall seeing any that were like nicer than this one, though. Maybe I saw one. In any event, I saw a bunch of 1 color, just red sort of thing. All right, 96 Topps Chrome Refractor Kobe Bryant PSA 10. Now this is, Adam, I know this is one of your favorites. The special thing about this card is that there's no greening. And greening / hulking is something that is inherent in the chemicals in the refractor coating. It's not necessarily something that is going to happen to all of them, but it may over time. It just depends on how much of that particular chemical that causes it is present in that batch on that day, et cetera, et cetera. This card is sitting at $120,000 right now. It's a population 63 out of 423 total subs, which is a 15% gem rate. So kind of elusive in a PSA 10 for a modern-ish card. We've only had 5 sales of this card since the beginning of 2023, Adam. And so we're on this one, we're at $134,000 right now out the door with buyer's premium. Sales we've had on this, 156 a year ago in January. We had one we had 2 in April 2023, 138,000, 102,000, May 2023, 121,000. And in February, just last month, in the Premier Auction with me and Adam here, and Brian, Cajun Cardboard, was with us last month, the same card, not the same copy, but a PSA 10 Kobe Bryant 96 Chrome Refractor sold for $96,000. This one's already at 140. Why is this so much more? That one last month, it had significant greening. Significant. This one has no greening that I can see. So that to me is very important and worthy of the premium. What do you think, Adam? I know you love this card.
Thank you for asking. The thing that I would tell anybody to do on this, and I really want everybody to go do this if they're thinking about bidding on the card. Go look, and don't just look at PSA 10s. Look at every Kobe Bryant Chrome Refractor that has sold at PWCC in the last 2.5 years. That's how far back I went. So if you go back to the beginning of 2022 and look at all of them, 26 copies of the card have sold in that time. And the irony here, Jeremy, is that I'm colorblind, and so I can't see the greening the way that most people can. But I actually had my wife look at my phone. I said, "Will you just do me a favor and will you scroll through these and take note of the greening?" And I showed her this copy, and then I showed her that I just had her like scroll through, and she was like, "Well, it just doesn't look the same as the other ones. It looks different." And I was like, "That's kind of what I thought," because I look at him and he looks normal here. He doesn't look normal in the other cards, and so. We don't know how long it'll be before it turns green, or frankly, if it ever will. We just don't know that. But what we do know is that it's been out for 27 years and it still looks like that. And some of them, Jeremy, like go watch the reel that I did for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. I just posted it today. Like, it is staggering how, like, even I can see it, like how much greener he is in almost every other copy that is sold. And so it's not shocking that, think about, like, if that 26 is an average representation and this is easily the best of those 27 cards that have sold, then is it a 4% sort of thing that look this good? That might be right. It might be less than that. It might be more. I don't know, but it's not, this card isn't about the grade as much anymore, I don't think, as it is about the color. I think that's the more important variable personally. And then secondary to it is great, but this one has both of those things. And so I don't, again, this is another one tonight where I'm like, I don't know who out there has been waiting for the good colored card, but it might be that there are people who are out there who have been like clamoring for a copy like this. We'll just have to wait and see.
That's it. You're right. We'll see what happens tonight. It's going to be exciting to see what this one does, considering, just how nice the surface and the colors are. I want to say hello to Jake Dahl. Welcome. Tom Newman says, use the Sports Cards Live referral link if you're bidding. Support SCL. I'm going to put it in the chat right now, you guys. And I just want to, say thank you. If you do choose to use it, you can copy and paste it into a new browser if you can't click on it directly. But I do greatly appreciate if you use it. We'll earn a small commission. But more importantly, PWCC will see that, we're doing something here and that you guys like it. So really appreciate that. That's the meaningful part of it for real. Jay Reed has a question. Well, we'll get to the Jordan when we get to it, Jay Reed. So stay tuned. We'll be getting to that card. Okay. We've got the Panini Instant FIFA World Cup Qatar Black Lionel Messi 1 of 1 in an NBA authenticated top loader. Great looking card, 2022. It's a $4,000. And we have an Mbappe 2018 Prism Blue Shimmer out of 5. Only 5 copies, pop 3, 1 graded higher. It's the BGS 9.5, $11,000. This image of him is becoming somewhat like, the word iconic is strong, but it's something that's like getting burned into my head as a card I'm seeing over and over again. I think that is what somewhat makes it iconic. All right, here's three nice cards right here. I think we have the most iconic card in the hobby right here, according to the PWCC Top 100 Iconic Cards, and number 2 right here. Beside each other, we have a PSA 3 Mickey Mantle 52 Tops. This is a very nice copy. I looked at it earlier, and the bottom left corner is really the big culprit there. It's got like, the paper is separating. It's almost a little fold over. Bottom right corner is rounded. Top right corner has a bit of loss. Top left corner is very nice for the grade, but just look at the color. It pops. Slight surface wear on the neck here, but for a 3, you're going to get that. I like that it's a type that has the solid black line on the bottom of the square surrounding the Yankees logo, also down over here. I think this is a great copy for a 3, but you really have to get yourself past this kind of fold in the bottom left corner. Centering is, it's obviously off center. Most of them are, but it's very nice still. Top to bottom looks really good. Left to right, it is definitely sitting on the right. We have Not Funny in the chat, says Kurt can fix it. Kurt can fix it. Jay-Z says that Kobe is visually stunning. Jay-Z, good to see you, buddy. All right. Then we have the BGS 9.5 86 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie card. Here it comes. There it is. Let's see. We got surface 9, corner, center, and edges are all 9.5. I'm not sure what this is. I have to think it's a little like that, a little piece of floating plastic inside the slab. I'd probably want to take that to Beckett at a card show and have them fix that, get that out of there, clean up this slab. But let's zoom out and have a look at the centering for the BGS 9.5. I actually think, Adam, side to side, it's basically perfect, but top to bottom, it looks like it's sitting a little high as far as, vertical centering goes. Corners and edges, zoom in on those. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, really. Yeah. Corners and edges are, what do they grade? They grade out 9.5s. Yeah. I cannot disagree with that. Centering comes in 9.5. I mean, I don't know about that. That seems like a weak centering for a 9.5 on this copy to my eyes right now, right here. What do you think, Adam?
Side to side's pretty spot on, like you say, and up and down. I think you're right. It's off, but it's between that sort of 9.5 level. Like, to me, the side to side's just like 10 times more important than up and down is, as long as up and down is close. And I think this, to me, I don't know, I would have said 9 or 9.5. But the thing that you pointed out, that little speck, that's the thing that I notice. And my guess is that that's what other people notice too. And so sometimes little things like that can cause something to sell for less than you would anticipate otherwise. And I love looking for stuff like that because, like you say, Jeremy, all you need to do is take it to a card show and have them fix it. And if that saves you a couple of grand, boy, that's a great way to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the kind of thing that might actually do that. So, all right. And then we have this card here. This is a fantastic Jordan autograph. And I just look at the auto. It's
perfect.
I think it's perfect. I think it's just perfect. It's a 98. I'm going to read it right from here. 98 SP Authentic Michael Jordan, sign of the times, gold PSA 8 on the card. The autograph grades out of 10. It's sort of a little hard to notice, or it might not be obvious to you, but this is a die cut card. I wasn't sure at first, Adam. I had to go look at other copies, and then where I really realized it was right here. You can kind of see that it is die cut, because that could have been black in the corners, but it's not. This is a die cut card, and currently we're sitting at $29,000 on this card. Now, I do have some information on this one I want to share with you guys. We're at $29,000 on the bidding as we sit right now. The same card in a PSA 8 without an auto grade sold in October of last year for $29,988. Okay. October last year. A year before that, September 2022, a PSA 9 with a 10 auto sold for $60,000. And then a couple months before that, a year before that, June 2021, $61,000. So the last three sales of this card are a PSA 8, $30K, and then two PSA 9s, a PSA 9 and a BGS 9, both at that $60,000 level. Here we're at about $36,000, $35,000 right now on this card out the door. And it's beautiful condition wise. So I don't know. I really like it. I just want to go. Decoy makes a comment here. He's talking about the Jordan, the rookie. He says, kind of looks like it has a tiny bit of tilt. I think I saw that too, Decoy. I think the border here is a little bit narrower than the border over here. That's what I think, although this little speck of plastic dust might be throwing me off, I'm not sure. I literally need to pull out the ruler and measure it. But there we have it. Adam, you know your basketball, you know your Jordan autos. How important is this sign of the times gold in the basketball collecting world?
It's important because Jordan doesn't have a lot of autographs from the 90s. And it's one of the first ones. And so it's also one that I think gives you one of the best looks at his autograph. I think, if you were to look at this card and compare it to others, the three main things that you would look at are the autograph itself, the color of the autograph, and then the grade of the card. But to me, like the eye appeal of the autograph is the thing that matters most. We've seen a lot of autographs that get a little bit dark. This one looks just about what you want it to look like, extends the majority of the length of the card. I like it more than I think most of the other Jordan autographs from this year or these years visually. I just think it looks really cool. The die cutting, to me, it doesn't really matter one way or the other. It gives it more corners, so it could maybe be in worse shape. But to me, this card, if you're in the market for a card like this, you're looking at the autograph and you're asking, how do I feel about that? Does that do for me what I want it to? Now go compare it to some of the other Jordan autographs that are that same year or the years around it. It measures up pretty well against those ones, especially when you think about the size, the length of the autograph. Yeah. That's what I really like about it.
I love how the space for the auto is kind of separate from the picture of him. We see that on a lot of cards, but it's a complete like that line between the image of him and the white space for the autograph is very defined. It's very obvious and prominent, and the autograph just looks great beside the picture of him. And some people might not like an autograph like where you're looking at him and he's vertical, but the autograph is horizontal. That doesn't bother me whatsoever on this card. All right, Kobe Kobe Bryant 03, exquisite, limited logos, numbered out of 75, BGS 9 at $50,000. Adam, I don't have info on all the cards, but I have info on this card as well. So I'll let you guys know some comp data, and it's recent, January 2024, $42,000 for a copy of this card. Now, this one's at 60. That one sold in January for 42. The difference was aside from the subgrades, the patch was one of those simple 3 colors, just vertical lines separating. This has angles. It's a part of a letter, I believe. Looks like the bottom of the N from Bryant. Amazing patch compared to the one that sold in January, which was a simple 3 color. In January 2023, this card sold for $58,800. This exact card also sold in December 2021, you guys, for $288,000. December 21.
We did the show together.
This exact card sells for $288,000, and then a year, 13 months later, it sells for $58,800, and now here it is again, and it's going to sell for $60,000 at least tonight. So really interesting. There was also another sale March of 2022 of a different copy with a nice patch for $186,000. Adam, what would you like to mention about this card?
Well, I have something kind of fun to say about this one. We looked at that 04 limited logo that was up on the top row just a few minutes ago. You got that one, and then you got this one. And this challenges how I sort of prioritize things with cards, because I always tell people I collect firsts and I like firsts. Well, this is the first, right? This is the limited logo. I actually had one of these too at the same time as I had my 04, which I told you about, the one that's the point card. I chose the point card because it's aesthetically, it's so much nicer. But if you're into this sort of like, I need the first, I want to have the card from the set, this is that, right? It's the first exquisite set. And so what we're seeing right now as you look at those prices is people are, maybe they're prioritizing the patch too, because it's just a lot nicer patch. But it's the same grade, and it's significantly more than the 04 is.
It is. The auto, it's very strong in the the top half, and as well as the tail here on the end, just a little bit of fading or something going on down to the bottom, but still a beautiful card overall. We've got a 1909 T206 Ty Cobb bat off shoulder SGC6. Gorgeous card, Adam. Let's just take a look. I've never owned a T206 card. I had a great episode of Sports Cards Live last Saturday with Chris Torres at CRT_sports cards, who has a bunch of T206 cards tattooed. He has a whole sleeve of tattoo done with T206s. In any event, fascinating set. And this is one of 4 Ty Cobb cards from the set, I believe 3 or 4, and just a beautiful, beautiful copy. I mean, look at this thing. Corners are not perfect, which I'm glad to see. They're not too sharp. Edges are nice. Centering is spectacular for the card. Really, really nice. And then we have a 2003 Topps Chrome refractor LeBron James rookie card in a BGS 10 pristine holder. Every subgrade is a 10, except centering comes in at 9.5, and I think I can see why. Seems to be situated a little bit, maybe a little bit to the left, maybe a little bit low. But this is a nice looking copy of the card, Adam. And I have some info on this one. I'm going to share it with you guys right now. This is a population of 31 in a BGS 10. There's also 4 black labels. So that's interesting. 4, I guess you could say, graded higher because all 4 subgrades are 10s. A black label did just sell in December 2023 last year for $96,000. This one's at about just in the low 30s right now with $26,500 plus the buyer's premium. So keep that in mind. As for simple BGS 10s like this one, November last year, one sold for $29,400. October last year, one sold for $36,600. And July last year, one sold for $35,400. Adam, your thoughts on the LeBron and the Ty Cobb, if you'd like. You're muted. And he's looking for that mute button.
Sorry about that. I forgot when I move my camera,
Go ahead.
sometimes it mutes on its own when I move my mic. So of those two cards, I'll surprise you a little bit. I like the Cobb more. I love the look of that card. We've seen so much of the LeBron, but the thing about the LeBron is, it is as recognizable and as iconic as it is. And you bring up the population and you go, well, there's only 30 something of them. There's only 4 more that are higher. I do get that, but that's a card that we see a lot more than we see the Cobb. And so seeing the Cobb in that grade is pretty spectacular.
It really is. And of course, when we're talking about populations, we're omitting any other grading companies like a PSA or an SGC in that case. So you might want to check those pops as well if you are kind of relying on that data to, maybe be a decision-making factor for you. All right, let's go to the next row. Another Rubies. This is the 1997 Kobe Bryant Skybox Premium Star Rubies. This is a BGS 5.5. Now, let's look at this card and see what's going on. Surface comes in at a 4.5. Everything else is 8.5 or higher. So this card outside of surface is probably a mint condition 9, BGS 9 card. But because the surface is 4.5, that brings the overall grade down to a maximum of 1 full grade point higher than the lowest subgrade. And I mean, it's tough to really find what's wrong with the surface from looking at that image. I'm not sure. I'm seeing 3 little dots here on the ball. I don't know what those are. Something that you'd want to look at in the light. What we could actually do is let's open this up. Let's open up the listing itself.
Check the top edge. I think it's the top edge.
Okay, let's make this bigger and see if I don't know if can't really can I zoom this thing bigger? There we go. Now can I rotate it? Can't really rotate it when I'm zoomed in, but there is something going on up here. I don't know if that's just light or what that is. As you come down, I'm not seeing as much.
Top right to me looks like it has some issues going on there.
Let's go back into it and just sort of let it spin at this distance. Yeah, the top right seems to be something there, but I'm not noticing from here. What I'm about to say isn't really worth much, but I'm not noticing anything that just screams at me, don't buy this card, like to me as a collector, because I'm all about surface. But this one seems to be pretty nice for a 4.5 surface. Can you just zoom in on the top right real quick? If it's still open, if that's okay. Yeah. Here we go, right here. Yeah, that must be. It looks like some surface loss.
It looks to me like some of the foils sort of come off and you can see some of the white. I could be wrong. I'd like to be able to see the 360 like you were doing, sort of zoomed in, and I would do that if it didn't kill our bandwidth. But
I don't know what this is here on his arm. That doesn't look like it's his skin color right there. As we come down, it looks really good. As we come over, it looks really good. Scroll back up. I'm seeing, I don't know what these 3 little, I don't know what those are, dimples or what. A couple of light scratches. This could easily be on the case, though. Again, I don't know for sure. And you come up and you're seeing these little pixel dots here. Not too sure. I think it's got to be this top right corner, though. That's the only thing that really stands out to me as being offensive. So, but in any event, I'm going to share some data with you on this card. This exact card sold in January, 2 months ago, on the PWCC Weekly for $17,400. It's under $9,000 right now, pre-buyer's premium. With buyer's premium, you're just about $10,500 or so. As it sits, exact card sold 2 months ago for $17,400. In October of last year, a PSA 6. In October of last year, a PSA 6 sold for $37,800. And in February of last year, so 13 months ago, a BGS 8 sold for $27,600. And this exact card actually sold in June of 2022 for $8,040. So it sells in June of 22 for $8,000, and then it sells in January 24 for $17,400. It's out of 50. It's 50 of 50. Beautiful card. I'd love to own it. Even this copy, that top right corner, it could be worse. It's not that bad.
I would go as far to say I would prefer this copy because you get it at such a deal over some of the higher graded cards. And to me, like, we were talking about the Jordan Rubies, that's so much more because it's PSA 9. I'm the opposite. If I can get the card that's the really rare card, Jeremy, let me save a ton of money by getting a low grade copy. And that's what this is, right? This is a low grade copy for one of the coolest 90s Kobe parallels.
Definitely. All right. One of my favorite baseball cards is so much of a favorite of mine. I'm going to just share something with you guys and just do that for a moment. Such a favorite of mine that there's a painting of it right there above my head that you can't really see during the show, but because it's up so high in my room. But I love the Reggie Jackson 69 Topps rookie. This is a PSA 8.5 with superior eye appeal assessment from PWCC. That puts in the top 5% of all PSA 8.5s. I have to look at it. When I see a PWCC-S, I have to look at the card, Adam, and see if I agree, see what I think. And centering is really good. Top to bottom, I'd say, is perfect. Left to right, I do think it's off center to the right a little bit, but I think we're talking like, better than 45-55. You're probably in that 47 and a 47.5, 52.5 centering kind of thing, side to side. Edges and corners are really good. It's harder to see on these white bordered cards, but very, very good. A little bit of a gap there in the black border around the image. As we scroll up, the color is perfect. It's just wonderful. I love the card. I love the card. What more can I say? I love the Reggie Jackson rookie. We're at $11,000 on this one right now. And then we have a 1951 Bowman Mickey Mantle, his one and only true rookie card in an SGC 5 holder. And we got to look at this one too, Adam, because I love the card. And if we just kind of dissect it quickly, so side to side centering, not perfect, but very good. Obviously, it's situated high on the cardboard canvas, so the vertical centering is off top to bottom. The name bar, I always like to look at these name bars on the 51 Bowmans because you often do see sort of these fish eyes, and there is one right there under the M in Mantle, but that's about it. And then you want to look at the registration of the card and just how clear it is. It's always good to look at the ball cap, and you can see the registration isn't perfect. You got a bit of that magenta shadow coming off the top of the cap here. You guys see that? You see it down here a little bit too. His face is a little bit blurry, but overall, I'd say it's still a very nice copy and certainly worthy of the SGC 5 grade, in my opinion. Adam, what did you think of those two?
Well, I love both of them. I want to just remind everybody real quick, the reason that you can't see it quite as clear as we're showing you is you'd be able to, if you were looking at it yourself on your screen, is that we're not actually using the PWCC tool to zoom in because it kind of hurts our bandwidth a little bit. So you'd see it a little bit clearer on yours. But the question that I wanted to ask you, Jeremy, is all things being equal, which of those three cards that we're looking at right now, if you could choose one to just put into your collection right now, which one of the three would you choose?
Well, I already have the Mantle and the Jackson, so they'll take the Kobe. I already own copies of these two. So give me the Kobe.
I thought you'd go with the Reggie just because the Reggie's so nice.
No, honestly, I have a PSA 6, and I like my PSA 6 presents as nice as this 8.5 does. So I got it, for less than 10% of the price of this one. So I'm very happy with my 6. I bought it at the Atlantic City National in 2022, and it's a stunning copy. So I'll save that 10,000 or 12, 13 grand plus and buy that Kobe instead.
I love it. The Kobe's my answer too. So it's interesting.
I love that. And listen, there's only 50 of these made. There's a million of these and a million of these out there. Yeah. I exaggerate, of course, but you know what I'm getting at, right? Like, I like scarcity.
And do you remember you and I had a moment at the last national where we were looking at somebody's table and we were looking at some different Rubies, and you looked at some of the later years and you're like, I don't like those. I like those. And you pointed at one of the amoebas because that card in hand, Jeremy, that card right there was made for the 360 because you can see that amoeba pattern like shrink and expand. It's just a beautiful card in hand. For me, that's the answer. No question.
All right, let's go have a quick look at that then. Here we are. Let's just open up the video and take a look at yeah, it goes fast here, but you can see how it
we used to be able to expand it when we did the 360. I think they
Yeah.
took that away, and that's too bad. You need to see it up close.
Yeah, it's just a stunning card for sure. At 87.50 right now as we sit. We're gonna try and get through as many of these. I'm behind on comments, guys. I see them. Let's do this row and then we'll address some comments. 2022 Immaculate Chet Holmgren Logo Man patch auto 1/1 in an NBA authenticated top loader. Adam, you did a reel on this, so I'm going to let you spend a minute talking about it, and then we'll get to the Gretzky and the Mookie as well. But yeah, I know you have some things to say about this one, so please.
Probably surprise you, but it might be the card of the night that I would consider bidding on the most. Might surprise you because I don't buy really modern, prospect type players, but Chet Holmgren has a chance to be really, really great. And I think that the world's sort of missing it because of Victor Wembanyama. Wembanyama is this alien, right? He moves in ways and does things where he barely jumped to dunk. He kind of doesn't even need to jump to dunk. And he does these amazing things. And so people are not noticing Chet, but last year the Thunder were barely a playoff sort of team. And this year the Thunder are competing for a 1 seed, trying to win a championship. And a lot of it's because they've got this center who can sit outside, shoot threes, take it down low, averaging 2.5 blocks a game, amazing efficiency, who's a rookie in Chet Holmgren. He when I watch him, Jeremy, I see offensively, some people are going to think this is crazy, but I see Kevin Durant. I see a guy who can do just about anything with the ball. And people are like, well, no, he's not the leader of that team. Listen, in the long term, I love Shea. I love SGA, right? I love Jalen Williams. I love that team. But Chet Holmgren, to me, if I had to bet on any of the three of those guys being an all-timer, I really, really like him. And so I've talked about him as a player a lot. This card, Jeremy, you've got this Logo Man auto out of Immaculate, the Logo Man auto out of Flawless, and then the one that's worth the most is the one out of National Treasures. Those are the three, along with the Prism Black. Those are his 4 best cards in existence. And I feel like nobody's talking about this because everybody's so all the people who are collecting the young guy stuff, they're all after Wemby. I love this card. Like I said, probably my card of the night.
They're all after Wemby and Connor Bedard. All right. Well, it's a great looking card. And if he's going to be the next Kevin Durant, then that's going to be a special card for sure. Okay. It's already special, I think, just for what it is and who Chet is. All right, guys. 1979 O-Pee-Chee, Wayne Gretzky, rookie card in a PSA 8.5 holder with above average eye appeal rating by PSA. Let's get into this one. Some of you come here just for this. I come here for all of it. I love looking at this card, and I've looked at this card already, so I kind of know what I think about it, but let's go through it together now. And top edge is wonderful. Top corners are really nice. Left and right edges have the perfect amount of that O-Pee-Chee rough cut, especially the right edge. Bottom edge is very nice as well. And bottom corners are very nice. You do see, you see a little bit of fray on the top left edge here. It settles down and you see a little bit of the bottom of it too. I think that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Great overall corners and edges, even though I guess on the top right, the top right corner is probably the weakest of the 4. So I just want to point that out. Now let's get into the surface, the registration, the printing that happened at the factory when this thing was printed. And we're going to start at the top here. The word Edmonton and Oilers. The word Edmonton often has that snow effect going on, where it's fading a little bit. This is look at how dark that black is. It's perfect. The word Edmonton is perfect. The black plate went down beautifully. Then you look at the word Oilers, and if you can see again on my screen here that there's the yellow shadow coming off the orange. You can see it kind of coming lower. The orange is a function of the magenta plate being laid down a little bit too high on the card, while the yellow plate looks to have been placed better. I don't think it was placed perfectly. It still seems a little bit high to me, but you can just notice the word Oilers is on a higher plane than the word Edmonton is. And that causes a registration issue, which we see throughout the card. Look at this border right here. This should be a white border, but you've got a bit of the a bit of the orange impact, the magenta coming into it and blurring the white a little bit. And if you just kind of compare the white over here, guys, to the white over here, you see what I mean. Pretty obvious there. A little blurry in the face. That's because of the print. That's because of the misalignment of the plates. Look at the side of the legs here. A little blurry down the side of the legs, but not too bad. We've seen worse. That's not too bad. And then the oil drop, kind of the number one telltale sign. And you can see quite clearly that the oil drop is poking out of its pocket. It should not be coming up above the blue line, the blue circle, if you will. It's popping out of the pocket. The yellow plate you can see is much better placed, not perfectly, but the magenta is just too high. And that throws off some people, throws me off. But I don't, when you think about eye appeal and the way PWCC approaches it and the way PSA approaches grading, I don't know how much registration comes into play at PSA. I just don't know. Is this card with perfect registration? Is this card a 9? Is it a 10? I don't know. And then with the PWCC eye appeal rating, I think they look more at corners, edges, and centering than they do at registration and the surface itself. But mostly I think they're looking at centering and, centering probably number one. I think registration should be a very close second to centering when it comes to eye appeal, because to me, a poorly registered card loses eye appeal. This isn't that bad, though. Despite what I've said, it's not that bad because, just look at the centering, the edges and the corners. They almost trump the fact that the magenta plate was laid down a little bit too high, or a lot too high, compared to other ones. So, it's going to be up to you. You have to decide if that bothers you too much. The face isn't that bad. The legs aren't that bad. And the people don't even notice that the word Oilers comes in on a different plane than Edmonton. And many people always say, oh, I didn't even notice that. They just look to the oil drop. So really, if you can get past the oil drop, I'm not going to disagree with either the grade nor the eye appeal assessment on this one, because it looks so good from here. It really does. So, but I want you to be aware of the details that I'm noticing as well. Adam, what do you think of that copy?
I agree with Thomas Newman. Some real knowledge right here. Great masterclass. And the thing that I love that you said most is like, what would this be if it didn't have the registration issues? I noticed the registration first now because of how you've talked about it through the years. But as you said there at the end, I don't disagree with it, because as I sit back in my chair and I look at it, I think, wow, right? Like, it looks about as good as it can from about 2 feet away. It's when you get close to it and you look at those registration things where, if you are somebody who really cares about this probably isn't the copy for you. But if you're I want it to look right from a couple feet away, it might be the best copy out there for you.
Yeah, it is a great looking copy. Bit of information. It's a population 47 in 8.5. There's 95 higher, 2 of which are 10s, 93 are 9s. And you go down a grade to the 8s, there's 809 8s. So this copy here gets you into the top 142 copies in PSA holders. You come down a grade level and there's 809 of them. So keep that in mind. It is exclusive grading territory. In July of last year, a PWCC superior copy sold for $34,800. And in May of 22, an 8.5 did 28.8. In Jan of 2022, 31,200. And the exact same card that sold in July of last year for 34,800 also sold in March of 2021 for 65,600. So an 8.5 with above average eye appeal has done 65.6. I think you're going to be able to buy this one tonight for less than half of what basically the same card sold for in the past. All right. Mookie, is this the Mookie? Yeah, the Mookie Betts 2014 Bowman Chrome Orange Refractor BGS 9.5, numbered at 25 with a 10 autograph, all 4 9.5 subgrades. Adam, this card, I do have a bit of info on it, just comp-wise. We're at 17,000 right now, plus 34. We're at 20,400, guys. This card has sold It sold twice last April, once for 15,600, another time for 18,600, and then it sold in February last year for 20,400, and it sold in May of 2021 for $48,000, which is more than 2 times any of those other comps that I just listed. So the card is down, of course, like most things are from 2021, but it's actually, this copy is currently at a price that is higher. It's equal to the Feb 23 price, and it's higher than the 2 that sold a year ago. So interesting place for that card to be right now. Okay, guys, it's at 8:30. It's 8:30 right now. And what that means is that we are into I believe we're into the 2-minute windows. Is that right, Adam? We're in the 2-minute windows, meaning if there is not a bid on any card in 2 minutes, in a 2-minute span, the auction's over. But we got a ways to go. Don't worry. Before we go to the next row, Adam, let's go to some comments. It's been a few minutes. Troy Lestrude says the 41 play ball DiMaggio is beautiful. We haven't seen it yet. We will get there. Tom Newman says, will the 06 LeBron gold sell for more than the 02 finest gold? That's a good question. Chris Gordon, thanks for being here. Appreciate you loving the show. Daniel is here. What's going on, buddy? 90s hockey. Steve Larson. Daniel says, would be great if PSA included the SGC populations in the near future on the PSA website? Yes, it would be. That is one of the things I would love to see. Anonymous Facebook user, what's going on, brother? Craig's Cards is here. What's going on, Craig? Will's Sports Cards, he says it's annoying when a half grade gets a superior eye appeal. If the S is accurate, it tells me it should have been a 9. Well, that's exactly what they are saying, that the card is undergraded. I believe I shouldn't say it's exactly what PWC is saying, but they're saying that, what they're saying is that, and it's obvious, not all 8.5s are the same. Some are going to be nicer than others. Doesn't mean it's a 9, though. It doesn't mean it's automatically a 9. It just means that if, among the other ones, this one would have the best chance of maybe being graded a 9 on a different day by a different grader, for sure. Found Treasures, what's happening? Daniel says when Jeremy dissects the Gretzky card, it's legendary. Thanks, Dan. Tom Newman. Hey-ho. All right, Adam, next row. Let's keep on rolling. Here's that PSA 10 Jordan that came up earlier in the chat. And let's take a look at that one. I didn't star the comment. I'm not gonna be able to find it right now really quickly, I don't think. So let's just look at it now. But the comment was basically, does the older slab have an impact on what the card sells for? And I think in some cases that is the fact of the matter, that the older slab, because people nowadays are going to look closer at the card in the older slab than they otherwise would have, because they think that PSA has graded harder since back then, which is likely. I mean, I think these things, I think their grading tolerance to or how much they adhere to the standards, I do think that moves in cycles based on a bunch of conditions in the market and in their shop. But in this case, this card is off center to the right. Adam, do you see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It's off center to the right, but outside of that, corners, edges are like the color, the print. This card, outside of that left to right centering, this card appears to be gem mint perfect to me. Now, keep in mind, PSA's tolerance for a 10 on centering is 60-40. I think top to bottom, this card's perfect. Left to right, that looks to be about 60-40 to me. So I think it's appropriately graded, but there are definitely better centered 10s in existence. And that's, I think, what we're getting at. We're at 140,000, which is 168,000 with buyer's premium. I could see it maybe getting one more bid, but we'll see what tonight holds. Adam, your thoughts?
I like old slabs. I'm sort of on the record for that. I like old slabs because what we've seen in the last couple of decades is people like to take cards and adjust the cards. There's cleaning, there's things that are, there's clear alteration, and then there's stuff that's sort of in the middle ground. The longer that a card has been slabbed, the less likely it is that it had stuff done to it. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I worry about cards that were graded more recently. I do, and that doesn't mean that I don't think that graders have gotten smarter. It just means that, like, literally this card hasn't been touched in, I don't know. I didn't see the back of the slab. I don't know how old the slab is, but I personally prefer old slabs. Some people are the opposite. And I think you're right, Jeremy. It's the majority of the market wants the newer slab. There's a premium placed on it. They're worth more. They're believed to be harder, but like, if it's a Jordan rookie, like for me, I don't want anyone to have touched it for the last couple of decades. That's the best.
I think that's an interesting perspective. I like that perspective. And as far as a premium on the newer slabs, the only reason there should be a premium on any slab is if the card is superior or better than the card without the premium. The slab is just the slab. If we're putting a premium, you're basically giving value to junky plastic if you're putting a premium on the slab without looking at the card. You have to look at the card. If you're not looking at the card, you are going to get burned eventually one way or another. So
the other thing I'd say, Jeremy, is if people sort of accept this idea that their card has to be in a certain plastic as of the last couple years, then that basically means you're a slave to the grading companies. Because what it means is that you every couple years have to update your collection. To me, and again, I don't want to tell anybody else how to collect, because people should do what they want. And if they love having their card in their new slab, then I think they should do that thing. But like, to me, it is all about the card, and I think people get lost in that sometimes.
Yeah, I think, as long as you like the look, it's all about the card, but then it's like saying it's all about the picture of me and my wife at our wedding, but you're going to put it in the nicest frame you can find. You're not going to put it in an ugly frame. Then you're not going to want to look at it as much. So as long as you like the look of the slab that your card is in, I think that's important too. But don't buy a card just because of the grade and the holder. Buy the card because it's worthy of being bought by you. Jeff DeErico says it would be interesting if PWCC provided negative ratings as well. Every card in the Premier should have all the details explained like you do. I get that comment, Jeff. The only thing is that it's just not realistic because, PWCC is one of several auction companies, and I don't know any auction company that highlights the negatives on the cards that they're profiling in their catalogs. They just don't do that. That is not good for their business. These are businesses, and they have their consignment clients that they have to service as well. They want to get the most money for their clients. Their clients want to get the most money for their cards. So shining a light on the negative. That's why what PWCC does do is give you really nice images. You need to look at the images closely.
Yeah, the best images, really the best images for sure.
All right. I'm going to put my affiliate link into the chat again right now for everyone who's joined. I want to welcome everybody. We've got about 105 people watching on YouTube, and I want to say hi to the 33 people watching on X right now. I never know whether to say Twitter or X. I'm going to say X. That's what it looks. Anyway, want to say hi to all those people. Thank you for joining us. And if you can see the affiliate link in the chat right now. You might need to copy and paste it into a new browser, but I'd appreciate if you would. SCL will earn a small commission, but again, more importantly, PWCC will know that we're doing something that you guys enjoy here. And we have a 99 Pokemon base set Shadowless First Edition Holo Charizard PSA 9 at 14,500. And this is the second Mookie in a row. Here we talked about the Mookie out of 25 up there. Here's the Mookie out of 10. This is the purple refractor auto BGS 9.5. Auto's at 10. It's a pop 9 in BGS 9.5, and it's at $14,500 right now. Oh wow. What a row. A great hockey card, a great football card, and a great basketball card. Adam, why don't we start by talking about this Giannis 2013 Immaculate rookie patch auto out of 25? To me, nicer than his NT card. I love this card. I don't even mind that it's horizontal. It's a BGS 9. Look at that great patch. Nice autograph. Number 10 of 25. So it's the parallel to maybe the true, I guess you could say, but still just an amazing looking card. What can you tell us about this one?
Yeah, so this is an insert. This is like if Panini had a limited logos. This is that. It's from Giannis's rookie year, and you said it exactly. Aesthetically, I'll take this over any of the other RPAs. And it's numbered out of 25. It gives you a nice big patch, and you don't get those colors on an NT patch. All the NTs are a lot weaker. So if you're looking to buy the card for what it is as far as aesthetically, or the size of the patch or the autograph, you're going to take this card all day. But if you wanted the card that has the brand associated with it, like the Giannis card, you would go with the NT. And so it just depends on what you're in the market for. This is a lot cheaper than an NT RPA would be, though. If it was me, I'd get this and I'd save the money.
No, me too. Me too. This card, I love the aesthetic of this card. We've got the 98 playoff contenders ticket rookie Peyton Manning ticket rookie auto, numbered out of 200 in a BGS 8 with a 9 auto. And these autos are, I mean, these autos are never perfect from the ones that we've seen, Adam. And this one seems to be, yeah, just like that. A little bit of streakiness, or there, I won't even say a little streakiness kind of throughout the autograph. So take it for what it is, but it's still an on-card Peyton Manning autograph on a rookie ticket. Pretty cool. Edges are 7.5, corners 8, surface 9, and centering is a 10.
Look at the slab serial number. This card was great a long time ago.
An early graded Peyton Manning. Great looking card, sitting right now at $6,250 plus the buyer's premium, puts it about $7,500, Adam. And then we've got this card, the 2015 Connor McDavid Ice Premiers patch auto out of 10. This is a rookie year card. It's a BGS 9.5. Let's have a look at the auto. There's the auto. Little streaky in this area here, but pretty, nice over here, streaky throughout this area here. The patch, though, that is oil drop. Oil drop on a McDavid patch is extremely important, extremely valuable. This is the oil. There you can see the pocket of the I talk about, think about the Gretzky rookie, everybody, and the logo at the bottom with the oil drop. This is the peak of the oil drop right here. This is the pocket, and then this is the rest of the circle that would come all the way around. So you're getting a really nice piece here. BGS 9.5 Ice Premier auto patches for rookie year players were huge. These were huge, 10 years ago. They're still very important cards, but it seems like really since the pandemic and since the Cup has been the standard that is compared to the NT or the Exquisite, it seems like some of these other really awesome rookie year patch autos in hockey haven't been getting the love that they used to. And I think that that's not the right approach, or not the approach I would take, but I love this card. It's just a beauty. Adam, what do you think of it?
I think aesthetically it's incredible. And the other thing that I'd say is, as we were coming to it, I saw your eyes light up. Like, you love this card, right?
I do.
And so to me, that matters because you're the hockey guy. I don't really know as much about Connor McDavid. I mean, other than the studies that I've done to sort of like try to create content around him. And so I do understand, I understand how big his name is. Like, to me, I don't necessarily know a card except for like what it means, except for aesthetically. Aesthetically, the colors of that, especially that patch, just really pop.
That patch is spectacular. That's a top hockey McDavid patch right there. A vintage card collector said, don't underestimate the OCD aspect of collectors that want their collection to look the same. I know, vintage. I used to be the same way. I'm not anymore. Well, I am sort of, but I draw the line. I draw the line now. And Ace of Grade says the difference between a rookie card and a rookie year card. You know what? Check out Victor, the rookie card specialist. He'll give you a whole lesson on the difference between a rookie year card and a rookie card. We just don't have the time to get into that here today, Ace of Grades. Okay, Tiger Woods 2001 SB Authentic rookie auto out of 900. The special thing about this particular copy is that the card grade's a 10 and the auto graded a 10. Yeah. And yeah, that auto is wonderful.
It's
wonderful. This is such a great card. It's been a beautiful card. SB Authentic has huge brand equity in our hobby. It's the authentic stars. It's kind of like the future watch in hockey, but it's the authentic stars in golf. But that auto is just brilliant. I absolutely love it. We're sitting at 24,000 out the door right now. 20,000 is the bid on this Tiger Woods. Takes us to the 2000 Bowman Chrome Refractor Tom Brady in a BGS 9. Now, Adam, this is a $16,000. I'm not sure for sure, but I feel like this card was way more not too long ago. Like, I mean, like 6-figure more. I don't know. I didn't do the research, but this Bowman Chrome Refractor BGS 9. I mean, let me know out there, guys. Did this card ever hit the 6-figure level? I'm not sure. Maybe 70, 80K. I'm not sure. In any event, let's have a look at it and just have a look at the center. I love assessing the centering on these because it's so easy when you look at these little notches on either side. Are those notches the same size? They're close. A little bit bigger on the right than the left. So it's a little bit off center to the left. Everything else, let's see. Centering comes in at a 9, edges 9, corners 8.5, and surface 9. So it's hard to assess the rest of them, especially if we're not going to take a good look at the back. But overall, a really great copy of Tom Brady's Bowman Chrome refractor rookie in a BGS 9 holder. Maybe you get that BGS discount that seems to be taking the hobby by storm right now.
Yes.
And then we have a card Adam will love, 2003 exquisite triple. What does it say triple? Oh, there's 3, not 4. It looks like there's 4 windows, but there's 3. It's a triple patch out of 10, BGS 9. Adam, how do these generally do? How do LeBron collectors and exquisite collectors take to these like unautographed, beautiful patch cards?
Well, this is from his rookie season, and it's from the first year of exquisite. And so people love this card because most people can't afford a LeBron RPA from 03 exquisite, right? It's a 6-figure card in any grade. And so if you want to own the guy from the set, but you don't want to pay 6 figures, this is just a great alternative. You might, some people might say, well, I have to have an autograph. Okay, well then you're paying even, a lot more money. What I like about it is, look, there's 10 of the card. And what you can't see from this photo is you see the like white around the 3 patches in the 4th area that kind of looks like it could be a patch. That's actually holofoil. It's really spectacular in hand. It's a beautiful card.
Nice looking card. So David Chow talking about the Brady said, usually it's the gold version. Oh no, he's talking about the Woods. He's talking about the Tiger Woods. Okay. So this comment is with respect to the Tiger Woods when I was talking about the Tom Brady. So we'll just kind of leave that for now. Warrior Kid, though, said, I have slabs from SGC, BGS, TAG, CGC, CSG, and PSA. I don't really care. I just want the cards I value to be protected and taken care of. Great approach, Warrior Kid. Can't really give it. Keep doing what you're doing. That's a great approach. All right. 84 star 101 Michael Jordan PSA 7 sitting at $18,000. We have to take a look at this one, Adam. Yeah, I mean, they're all off-centered for the most part. This one is typical off-centered. I wish, we just don't know why it's not higher graded. I don't like that it's so floaty in this holder. I just wish PSA made holders that fit the cards, because this just looks sloppy to me. And I just don't like it. I don't like when they float around in there. Sorry, I'm not talking about the card. I want to talk about the card. Not that so much. You can maybe get it redone if you need to. But with that said, Adam, what were you going to jump in with?
I've wondered, because I've noticed that PSA has done this with all of the star cards. To me, it feels like maybe it's because, they always have to put the soft sleeve in there with a card like this that's so high valued, and they want to make sure that they're keeping it safe. Obviously, it's newly graded because they didn't start grading it until a couple of years ago anyways. My guess is the other part of this is that a lot of star cards, this, Jeremy, a lot of them they sit a little bit short. And so if you have the normal sort of like edges that you normally see on the edges that keep the card in place on the PSA holder, I think most people would look at it and the card would appear trimmed, not because it is, because just a lot of the star cards sat short. So I wonder if that's part of it, but I've noticed the same thing as you. I kind of don't like that it's that way, but I do think there's probably a reason for it.
Yeah. I don't think the reason is that they don't want people to think the card's trimmed. I don't remember the last time.
Why don't you agree with that?
Because I don't.
Have you ever looked at the regulation size, like where the edges are, and gone, oh, that looks like it sits short? And I do that all the time.
I have, but I don't think PSA cares that you think that, because they've graded the card and they're going to stick to what they think. Well, I mean, not all cards are cut the same. I don't think they put it in here. I don't think they put it and wanted it to look sloppy like this so that people wouldn't accuse them of putting a trim card in their slab. I just don't think that's the case. Maybe it is. If it is, great. I think that's.
I guess the only other thing that my only other retort there would be if enough of them sit short that they're actually like moving around quite a bit in there. I can imagine, especially on a really expensive card and PSA's got the insurance policy, they probably don't feel comfortable letting it sit in there like that.
That's the reason. The card probably doesn't fit in their standard holder. That's a great reason to do it, but the consequence is a sloppy looking $20,000 item that over $20,000 someone's gonna buy, because a lot of people are gonna like the card. So Tom, so Robert Scott is saying slight tilt on the Star Jordan as well. Definitely slight tilt. You know that you can see it go. It's narrow down here. It gets wider coming up here, wider here, narrower coming out here. Listen, I think it's graded right. I think the grade is right. I think PSA nailed the grade at a 7. I actually wouldn't. I could see it being a 7.5, maybe even an 8 without, looking at the back. So, all right, let's keep on going. 1955 Bill Russell All-American Sports Club PSA 9. We're at $10,500. It's a pop 8, 2 graded higher. Something tells me you'd love this card, Adam, because of the rarity. But tell us for yourselves. What do you think of this card? It's hand cut, by the way. Nice job for whoever hand cut it.
You're right. I love whenever we see any Russell, but here's your complete list of Bill Russell playing days cards. There's this, there's the rookie, there's the 61 in action, and then the 68 tops test. That's the whole list. That's it. There's not even any other sort of like oddball cards. I don't like that it's hand cut. I just don't like hand cut cards in general. But the thing is, it's so rare, and it's like made before he was a rookie in the NBA. I don't like that it's small, but I love when you got a rare card of one of the greatest players of all time, and it was made before his rookie year. Like, I can't look past those things. I'd love to have one in my collection.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 57 rookie. This is 55. Great Bill Russell documentary. I think I watched it on Netflix about a month ago. Check that out, you guys. You also actually learn a lot about Bob Cousy in that documentary as well as Wilt Chamberlain. So I felt that much smarter about the history of basketball after watching the Bill Russell documentary. Tom Newman here says, I hate how my PSA cards move around. Yeah, they do, but in a way, I don't want them being pinched, or I'm not a fan of an inner sleeve because I can't see the card as well, but that's also a give and a take. What is Tag's solution on that sort of stuff, Jeremy? Like, because I know Tag's known as like the clearest holder. What do you guys do to like make sure that things aren't moving around and that they look super clear? I think because I'm not involved in the day-to-day operations whatsoever at Tag. I think they take a similar approach to what PSA does. And, when you see min size, it's so unfortunate when you get a card back with min size from PSA, because they're not telling you it's trimmed. They're telling you all they're telling you is it's too small for their holder. Yep. I think Tag approaches it in a very similar way. Tag doesn't want your card to be sliding away inside their holder. So there's a threshold for size, and some cards get kicked out, not because they're trimmed or suspected trimmed, because they were just cut too small for the holders. And that's just unfortunate. So Daniel A says, I'm afraid to reslab one of my PSA cards with the fear of having one of those floating holders. To take it further, I try not to buy a card in one of those PSA holders. That's me. And I don't blame you, Daniel. I would just wait for another copy myself as well. Warrior says, playing day cards of Legends are so much better than the cards that get released with them on it today. In a lot of cases, I do agree. But as a hockey collector, I love a good Wayne Gretzky or Mario Lemieux auto patch from Modern Cup. I mean, you'll never tell me that is better, that is worse than their cards from their playing days. But that's just me. Okay. Shohei Ohtani, some controversy surrounding Mr. Shohei in the last couple of days. This is his 2018 Topps Heritage Real One Red Ink Auto, numbered out of 69. It's got the 69 design, similar to the Reggie Jackson rookie we looked at earlier. Is a PSA 10, no hat, red ink, $17,500 as we sit right now. There's another Shohei. This is the same. I think this is the exact same card. No, this is the different image. This is the image variation with the hat on to pop 4 at 17,500, also out of 69. Then we have a 2023 black finite Bryce Young rookie 1 of 1 from Panini Prism. This is the black variation. We're at $25,000, Adam, on Bryce Young, a player I'm not really familiar with. So that's a lot of money, but I'm sure he's a great quarterback prospect, and quarterback prospects do very well in our hobby. And then finally in this row, we have one of these spectacular 2023 Bowman Chrome Orange Refractor Tom Brady auto with the PSA DNA by PSA. This is one of those 10-10s. The card grades a 10 and the auto also grades a 10. This is another card that, you see it so much. No matter what you think about this card, guys, no matter what you think about it, this card is going to go down in history as one of the most talked about. Somewhat, it's going to become an iconic card just for what it is and all the hoopla around it and the marketing around it and all that. So, and just the time in the hobby overall. What do you think, Adam?
Well, I've got a question for you. I love just asking you these random questions sometimes. Those 3 cards right there, none of them strike me as Jeremy cards, right? Which one of those 3 cards could you see yourself wanting in your collection the most?
Well, okay, the Bryce Young is out immediately because I don't know who he is, and I just not interested.
You've got to pick one. I know they're not Jeremy cards. I know.
And I'm going to pick one. I'm going to pick one, and I'm going for the Brady. I'm going to take if I'm taking the Brady, and I think it's not even close, to be honest. Like, this is a great card. But if I'm buying a baseball player's rookie card, I don't want a throwback design. I want a design from their era. Personally, nothing against this card. It's a great card, but it's not what I would want to represent Shohei in my collection. So that's pretty much, yeah, I'd take the Brady. What about you?
I would also take the Brady without question. I don't know who Bryce Young is. It's the power of like you just said it, you're spot on, man. Like the power of the quarterback prospect, the power of the black prism, and the Shohei. Like, I would love a really cool card of Shohei, but I don't like how the autograph gets lost in that card. And when I have an autograph on a card, I want that autograph to, like, unless it's something that's really old and it was part of like the history of autograph cards. Like, Shohei's just got a lot nicer autographs than that one. I know it's rare, and I know, I get why it is what it is, and I get the appeal of it. But for me, the Brady's like the best looking. It's just a really good looking card. It will be iconic. Whether people like it or not is a whole nother story. And I like the autograph, and I think it was a cool, like, try for Topps to do something really different. So yeah, for me, that's the answer.
There's been controversy on it. Vinny Rulo in the chat says that Brady card was Photoshopped. My response is, who cares? That to me is literally a non-issue, because they've been photoshopping cards and airbrushing cards for a long time, or at least the images that end up on the cards. That doesn't bother me whatsoever on this card. What do you?
I would even say, Jeremy, I would even say, like, I would like to get the card or the image it was based on, because there's like the image of the other guy that it was based on. I'd love to get that and put it next to it and be like, this is something that Fanatics did. Like, they did this thing, and they made. And there's a whole story, and that story will always be there. And at some point in the next couple years, we'll see the sales on these slow because there's not that many of them. And then to me, it could become something that's kind of cool.
Yeah, fair. Agree. Okay, continuing on. SPX, LeBron James rookie card from 2003, numbered out of 750. This is a BGS 10. Now, these cards are, they're layered. A 10 is like, wow, what a grade. I don't see anything wrong with it, so I'm not going to argue. Surface 9.5, the only subgrade that isn't a 10. Serial numbers right there. The autograph is beautiful on the Avery label. A lot of people, I just had a conversation about this. It's not a sticker. It's not on card. What is this? The way the card companies refer to this type of autograph is Avery label. The company Avery that makes the stickers and all that. That's how they refer to a card that is constructed in this manner. Now, keep in mind, though, that I believe that the player would have been shipped a sheet of Avery labels, not in the card already. I don't think they produced the card, then got him to sign it. So the process is similar to stickers, but these aren't stickers. They're Avery labels. Are they? I mean, I think they're better than stickers, because stickers, this one at least has a section for it, right? The border of the sticker. It's pretty nice, but it's not what I would consider to be an on-card auto. For this to be an on-card auto, the autograph would have to be on the top layer of the card. Despite all that, doesn't matter. It's the LeBron SPX rookie auto at a 250 with a piece of jersey, 10 on the card, 10 on the auto. Can't disagree with either of those, Adam. You know your LeBrons in your basket. This card for LeBron, he's got so many rookies. How does this card rank? Okay, I'm not sure what happened to Adam.
Sorry, can you? I don't know if I'm the one who's having the connectivity issues, or if it's you. But this card, Jeremy, the story on it for me is 100% about the autograph and how that autograph compares to later autographs. And so, like some players during his rookie year, LeBron James signed a ton of autographs. So go back and look at his SPA. Go back and look at his Ultimate Collection. Look at his Exquisite. Look back at his top prospects, and then SPX. And this form of autograph, he didn't sign for very long. Like this is a very distinct autograph. In fact, you could have just cut out the autograph on this, Jeremy, and said, "Hey, Adam, what set is this card from?" And I would have said, "That's LeBron James's 2003 SPX rookie card." And so, yeah. So the story for me on this card is, like, at some point, I think people will look back and they'll say, it would be cool. It would be cool to have a card with each of LeBron's different formats of autographs. And that to me makes this one special. So do you want the one on the Avery label that sits embedded within the card, or do you want the one that's on card that's a much shorter autograph? I think the hobby has decided that second option is the better one, but I sort of question it. And I look at the SPX and I go, I like that LeBron spent more time on this than he did on some of the other cards.
And SPX is a fine brand as well. Okay, continuing. 2022 Bowman Chrome, Orange Refractor, Jackson Holiday, numbered out of 25, PSA 10, Pop 11 at $11,500. And I love looking at how the autos lay down on these Bowman draft cards, because they usually do. This one's streaky over here, but otherwise very nice in this region right there. 18 out of 25 on that. And then here's a 2018 Bowman Chrome Green Refractor Shohei out of 99, BGS 9.5, autos a 10. Let's look at this one. Yeah, great autograph there. A little streaky in this area here, but that's, when you go that far and wide with your autograph, you do lighten up a little bit on the pressure on the paper. So I'm not surprised. That's just the way it goes. Nice card for sure. Not a color match at all with green and red, more of a Christmas match, but a very nice card. Whereas the Jackson Holiday was a really beautiful color match right there. Adam, Luka, who I think you just deemed as the sixth most collected basketball player, fifth most collected basketball player from some polls that you've been running on your Instagram. This is the 2018 Flawless Ruby Luka rookie patch auto out of 15. And I mean, to me, aesthetics, design, this thing is gorgeous. I don't know if you could tell how much I liked it, by the way, that weird way I just said the word gorgeous. I love it. 13 of 15. Autograph looks to be perfect. It did great out of 10. Love the 3-color patch with stitching and mesh going down the middle there. Subgrades, it's a true gem, 9.5. And then the full body shot, and he's wearing his long underwear, guys. He's got his long underwear on. I thought we only wore that up here in Canada on cold snow days. He's wearing his long underwear on the court. I love the looks of this card. I like the looks of this more than his NT. I've said that a million times. Adam, where do you fall on this card? And it's got that nice ruby red foil around the patch window.
I did some content on an RPA recently. It was the Chet Holmgren, and I had a lot of people saying or asking the question, but is it game used? Is it a game used RPA? I just think for some reason the community's had a really hard time wrapping their head around how rare game used RPAs are, because there's different levels, right? There's game used, event worn, and then not associated with, right? There's like 3 different levels. Like this player never touched this. This player touched this, but it was just for, some sort of like taking a photo or whatever. And then this player wore this in a game, right? And you would think, like as a collector, you would think that having worn it in a game would be like this ultimate paramount awesome thing. And for some people it is, but some people just do not care. And some people do not take the time to understand it. This is a Luka game worn RPA. He actually wore that. It's actually from his rookie season. It's a cool piece of patch. I'm with you, Jeremy. I think it looks really cool, and the full image of Luka is really cool. So if you want a game-used RPA of Luka, you don't see them come up very often, and this is one of them.
Because the NT RPA is not game used. So, and there was a question that came up earlier with respect to the Connor McDavid from David Chow when he said, what's your take, Jeremy, on game used and event used, for example, on the McDavid? And, my take is that it seems like right now the hobby just doesn't really care too much if the patch is game used. They put significant value, whether it's game used or it's event worn or it's, whatever the other options are. I think that's going to change eventually. I think eventually people are going to actually care what's in the card that they have, and they're not just going to want they're going to pay more for a piece of material that was in a game. Game used memorabilia is all the rage. I mean, people love their game used memorabilia. They don't love and they don't brag about buying a jersey at Dick's Sporting Goods or Sport Check up here. And look at my new jersey that I bought with names and with the names and the letters and the emblems. Why? Because you're buying it to wear it. You're not buying it because it's not, Anyway, I know it's a loose analogy, but to me, game used is undervalued. As far as the Connor McDavid above that David Chow was asking about in the chat, this one right here, if this was game used, I don't know how this isn't a 6-figure card, considering what this card up here is selling for. This one right here. I believe this is game used, and this is at 52.5 and it's numbered out of 12. I don't even think it's as nice as the one below. But if this is actually, let's open this up and just confirm if this is actually a game used patch on the McDavid. I think it is.
In basketball, the exquisite rookies were never game used. They're always event.
Yeah. So this one is it's photo shoot. Okay. This is photo shoot.
Yeah. That's
the McDavid. Yeah. The McDavid RPA is photo shoot. It's not game used. And it's at 52,500. And then you scroll down to the ice, which is, I think, just a way nicer card.
It is.
And it's it's a quarter of the price.
Well, let's look at the back of that.
This I know is not
but do you know if it's from the photo shoot?
I think it is, but let's take a peek.
I think you're right. I'm pretty certain you are.
Photo shoot, yeah, rookie photo shoot. Yeah.
So the question that people always have, right? Like especially newer people in the hobbies, they're like, wait a second. There's 2 autograph patches. This one looks a lot nicer. Why is this other one so expensive? And the explanation for that is one word. It's branding, right? The cup is the brand. It is. Yeah. And we all know this. It's the brand. And not only is it the brand, but that's the set in the brand. And that's like the rookie parallel, right? Like that's a huge card. And that's why so many hockey people are going nuts for it. It's the same thing as the LeBron James
but it's exactly why for me, the way I approach it is I don't buy these cards. I have no interest in a photo shoot personally in a photo shoot RPA. I would rather wait for a second year. If branding is so important, go get the second year limited logos or whatever it's called, auto patch with game used material. To me, it's one of those areas of the hobby that just doesn't make logical sense to me. And I think it's because of that. I think eventually the hobby will catch up to what I think is logical. Whether I'm right on that or not is up for debate. But I think eventually the hobby will catch up to that.
So I think this is my take on it. I think that you are right that the game worn thing in the long term will matter, that people will become educated, they'll learn, and that they'll at some point place a significant premium on that. I agree with you. I think though, this is where maybe we disagree a little bit. I think that the branding will continue to matter, and that certain branding or certain brands will, and certain sets will be the most sought after. The best example to me of this for myself actually is there's this card of Rudy Gobert that nobody cares about. Nobody cares about Rudy Gobert in the entire world except for me. Like, I love Rudy Gobert. So his best cards are his Logo Man autos from his rookie year. He has other Logo Man cards. He has other autos, but I want to own the best Rudy Gobert card. And the hobby is determined that this is what it is. And I think that that is what it is. And I'm willing to pay so much for that. I think people will always want to own the thing that is perceived to be the best. And I do think that brand will always play a significant role in that. I don't think that'll ever change.
Yeah, I think that's short-sighted. Medium-sighted, I'll say. I think that's medium-sighted because things change. There was a point in time when Beckett had a better brand than PSA. These things,
True.
And that applies to lots of different industries and brands where things just take a back seat. Whatever happened to Jordache jeans? I mean, like it just, these things happen. I think being honest, I don't think that's the right long-term view, but that's just me. Let's re-talk 20, 25 years down the road. Let's see what cards are worth more. The ones with the photo shoot Dick jersey pieces or the ones that were actually on the court.
No, to be clear though, I agreed with you on that part.
Yeah,
I didn't disagree with that.
No, I know. But you're putting brand above the origin of the patch, and that's
I didn't say that either.
Sorry,
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I just said it seemed to me that you were sort of suggesting that that the brand wouldn't matter as much in the long term. And I think you're right that some brands can sort of be perceived, that the jeans example is a great one. That can change over time. But I don't think of those two Connor McDavid cards. I just think the cup will always be the cup. I think that will matter, and people will always want the best cards from the cup. I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, maybe that's going to be true, but I think there's an opportunity for savvy buying to get maybe better value. Maybe as things go up in value, maybe the percent increase that a card goes up will be more for the game used, lesser brand than the better brand. No meaning to the patch itself. May as well not have a patch in a lot of cases to me if it's off the rack. Okay, let's keep on going though. Still lots of cards that we want to take a look at. So we left off right about here. We've got a Tris Speaker T206. We got a Caitlin Clark Superfractor 101 at $6,000 here. Beautiful Superfractor Caitlin Clark auto right there. We've got a Philadelphia Caramel Honus Wagner SGC3. Here's a Honus that we haven't seen too many times. The Larry Bird Magic Johnson rookie with Dr. J in the middle and a PSA 9 sitting at 11.5. Let's just take a peek and see if there's any of that black sprinkling going on. It seems to be void of any of that print defect. This is a very clean copy. And I also like that the perforations are coming right down the middle of the two cards. Sometimes it's because of centering, the perforations aren't centered. This card, there's so much, this card could go under scrutiny just like the Gretzky rookie does that I do, because there's so many different factors at play, like the position of these perforations. But really nice copy here. Can't see any reason why I wouldn't grade out a 9. Centering it's a little bit high, a little bit smaller up here than down here, I'd say. Side to side looks pretty good though. And a Joe Montana PSA 10 rookie card sitting at $26,500. Couple comments, Adam, quick before we continue on, and want to just thank everybody who's here with us. Jay Pilon, welcome to the show. Warrior Kid got a laugh out of that. Dan says my Dwight Howards are game used. That's great. And that's another thing, is the player is important too. Dwight Howard, I mean, great player, but the hobby love, I think he kind of suffers a little bit, but the game used is a wonderful aspect of those cards, maybe enough to carry them a little bit. Warrior Kid asks, why aren't more patches game used? Simply because the teams and the card companies can't get those jerseys from game used jerseys from rookies in time to get the cards out within the card season. And we've seen that's why the cup is always delayed. And it was just exacerbated during all the supply chain issues during the pandemic. Signed and Slabbed is here, guys. Welcome to the show, David. He goes on to say, Adam and two other people are the only ones collecting Rudy Gobert. Let's be serious. Good evening, Frankie. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. That's on all the copies, Brent, that I've seen. That little black mark below the Magic. That's Adam. Is that true? I don't know that I've ever seen one without that. You know what we're talking about? Is this little black dash right here?
I haven't ever noticed or looked for it before. I'm not sure.
Have a look. I'm pretty sure it's on all, if not most of them. Vintage Card says brand is more important than game worn pad. Well, you're a vintage card collector. What do you know, vintage? But
I would just to be clear, based on our little conversation we had, I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't. I certainly don't.
I think in the long term, it wouldn't shock me if game worn ruled out. It really wouldn't. But that was never the point I was making, to be clear.
Yeah, fair. And Tom Newman, did either of you do your brackets? No, did not. What's up, Joe Perot? Welcome to the show, buddy. All right, next row. 1979 Topps Hockey Vending Box, BBCE authenticated. That likely does have a Gretzky rookie or two. I don't know the format, but there's chance at a Gretzky rookie out of there. We have a Justin Herbert National Treasures RPA BGS 910 auto and a Trevor Lawrence Prism Gold Vinyl out of 5. I think it's a beautiful card. I do love the Super Fractor Gold Vinyl Golden Treasures design to bring hockey into it as well. 8.5 sitting at $11,000 right now. Vintage says, no, not all the cards have that black dash on the bottom right. So yeah, I mean, if they don't all have it, that should be penalized in my mind. That's a print defect sort of thing, or a misprint, not a misprint, but a print defect. So, but I think it's like there's so many of them that have it that I don't know. I guess maybe PSA just doesn't penalize it. Okay, continuing on. 2003 SB Game Use Significance Gold Auto, Michael Jordan, numbered out of 10. Let's have a look at that autograph, Adam. Very nice. 6 of 10 right there. Autograph is very nice. Some streakiness right in the tail here. But again, that's where he lays off on the pressure of the autograph. Great shot of Jordan dunking the ball right there. It's a BGS 9.5 autograph grades out of 10. Adam, I'll just do this one too quick and then ask for your thoughts on both. 05 SB Signature, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, triple auto, BGS 9.5, autograph of 10, pop 7, none graded higher by BGS. And to me, this is like kind of a perfect triple auto of player. I think Magic is under respected by the hobby because I think he's just, that much fun, that good. But nice looking card overall. Are those sticker autos, Adam? I think they are sticker autos. Nice card right there. Let's go to you on these two, please, Adam.
Isn't it interesting the power of the on-card autograph? You've got 3 of the greatest of all time next to Just Jordan, and the Just Jordan is going to sell for more because it's not on a sticker. And so I was thinking to myself before I looked at the price, which of those 2 cards would I rather have? And then you zoomed in on it and went, oh, that's a sticker. I'd rather have just the Jordan. And that should be a lesson to the card companies, the long-term value, because neither of these brands are sort of thought of as like great brands, right? This is about buying a gem mint 10 auto of either those 3 or that one. People would rather have you get one autograph by Michael Jordan on the card than Michael Jordan, LeBron, and Magic. It's kind of incredible.
Yeah. I'd prefer all 3 if I had that as an option. I want to go back. Luke also made the comment, the black slash below Magic is not on all, but it is more common. So that's an interesting case where what's preferred. To me, it's kind of like the Joe Namath rookie. There's the version of his 65 Topps rookie that is called the butterfly version because on his hand, there's like it looks like a birthmark almost on his hand. It's a ink splot, a black ink splot that's like the shape of a butterfly, and they call it the butterfly version. Some have it, some don't. Most lately, I've seen more without it. But to me, that's an issue, and I prefer it without it, to be honest. And I got to go check mine, the copy I own, and see if it has it or not. I don't even know off the top of my head right there. Warrior says, is the Jordan auto the best in basketball? I think that's a easy yes on that one right now. Deep Value says, I just can't do stickers, and it's helped create additional boundaries for my collecting. That's exactly how I approach it. Brent and everybody it's saying no sticker autos in my collection. I'll allow myself to make an exception if I really want to, but as a boundary, it's an easy way to just say, no, put money into something else.
Hey, just a second ago, I want you to clarify something real quick, Jeremy. Just a second ago, you said if I had the choice, I'd rather have these three. Did you mean these three on this card with the sticker auto, or were you saying these three if they were all on card?
So apples to apples, these three versus a single Jordan sticker, or these three on card versus a Jordan on card?
That's what I'm asking. Were you saying you would take this triple as it is on the stickers, or were you saying I'd rather have the three if they were all on, but only if they were on card?
To clarify, in my mind, I was saying I would rather have all three guys on a card instead of just Jordan. Yeah,
me too. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. But that's what I was trying to illustrate, is like the fact that they're not on the card. You'd rather have the one that is on card.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We've got a 2017 Panini Contenders playoff ticket, Mahomes rookie auto out of 15, BGS 8.5, pop 2, 5 graded higher. This is a beautiful looking card, actually. At first I looked at it, I was like, I don't know, but now I look at it, I like the looks of this card. It almost reminds me of like a Black Russian, like Kahlua and vodka in a drink. I don't drink much, but it just reminds me of a cocktail for some reason. I don't know. That's what comes to mind. I love the card. Beautiful auto out of 15. That's a nice looking card. Let's leave it at that for now. All right, let's go to the next row. Here's another Trout. This is the 09 Bowman Chrome Gold Refractor out of 50. This is sitting at $30,000 right now. We got a LeBron James Topps Chrome rookie PSA 10 sitting at $21,500. And we've got a 2017 Bowman Chrome Orange Refractor Ronald Acuña out of 25, and it is a BGS 9.5. This is a True Gem Plus. The auto grades out a 10 as well. Really nice card, seen at 18,750. Adam, any comments on these three?
Nope.
No comments, he says. No comments. Continuing on, we've got a Carlos Correa. We've got a 84 star Michael Jordan, not the 101. This is the 195 and a PSA 8 pop 10, none graded higher at $20,000. That's a great card. And then we've got a 1998 Skybox Molten Metal Fusion Titanium Kobe Bryant out of 250 in a BGS 9.5 holder. And I can tell you guys that we have some comps on this one. This card sold in 2022. I've got 4 comps. 2 different cards, each sold 2 times. And this all happened in February and May. 15,600, 10,800, 15,000, and 15,600. Actually, the same card sold twice, once in February, once again in May, both times for 15,600. This one is sitting right now at just over $12,000. And this one has a 10 for centering, and it's a True Gem Plus, as I mentioned earlier. So a pretty nice copy. Adam, anything you'd like to say about the Kobe or the Jordan 195?
Can you tell, is this Jordan floating around in the holder too, like the other one?
Let's have a look.
Yep.
It is, but without, yes, it is. And it does have the sleeve as well.
Yeah. That's what I do think that they're going to just do that with all of the star cards for those reasons that we talked about. So that card of the 3 might surprise people because I love Kobe so much, but I love the other 2 Jordans. I love that, they're just as rare as the 101 is, but you never hear people talk about them the same way. They've got super low pops. I mean, look at this pop. What did it say? Pop 10 and none higher. Like there are no 9s. I think that's really cool. People don't look at those enough. 2 full years ahead of the 86.
I think the difference with this one, I'm sure you'll recognize, is he's not playing for the Bulls on this card, which it's the 1984 gold medalist portrayal of Michael Jordan. I think that's really cool still. But for me, I don't own any of them. But if I did, I would go for the 101 because I'd want the NBA, the professional card myself. Okay, what a great looking card this is. I noticed this earlier, and I just want to like highlight this patch piece right here that basically has some of the stitching from the word babe right in it, and a very nice GH Ruth. I don't think we often see the GH for George Herman. We often see babe, but I like that you can still look at this and you just know it's a Babe Ruth auto, regardless of the fact that it's not a Babe Ruth auto, it's a George Herman Ruth auto. I think it's really cool. I don't know that I've ever seen this auto before, Adam, actually, until right now. Even earlier today when I looked at it, I didn't realize it until right now. I'm like, wait a second, that's GH. Awesome, awesome card from 2019 Diamond Kings. It's a BGS 9, but it's not about the condition, this card. This card is about this autograph and this piece of memorabilia. It is a 101. It's got the nice scripted stamp, 101 serial number right up there above the patch. And just an awesome card at $21,000 right now. Sign and Slab tells us Ruth is from a Czech, and they're very common on checks. So there's a bit of context for everyone on that one. And another Babe Ruth card is final card 1948 Leaf PSA 6. Have a look at it if you're interested. It's a great card, but it's post playing days and all that. So take that for what it is. I prefer the 33s, but this is still a really nice card. And 48 Leaf is just an iconic, very important set that you can't go wrong owning this card at all. And then finally in this row, 1986 Topps Jerry Rice rookie card in a PSA 10. We're sitting at $44,000, which is about 52 out the door. This is a pop 62. There's only 62 Jerry Rice PSA 10 rookies. I've got 4 comps I'll share with you guys. These are the last 4 I could find. They all happened in 2022. September 2022, 66,000. August 22, 75,000. And 2 in April of 2022, $81,000 and $90,000. And both the September one that sold for 66 and the April for 81 was the same card. Somebody bought it in April for 81, sold it in September for $66,000. I don't think this is either of those cards, but this one is sitting at 44,000 right now. Adam, over to you on these 3 non-basketballs to provide a couple comments, please.
My favorite is the Ruth. I think that the patch that you pointed out is really cool. There's not a lot of autographed patch Babe Ruth cards out there. But my favorite fact of the 3 cards, as you already know, Jeremy, we already talked about it pre-show, is there are only 2 cards in the 100 cards that PSA has graded the most. There's only 2 of them that have a lower gem rate than the Rice. Do you remember what either or both of them are, Jeremy?
Yeah. One of them is for sure the Derek Jeter.
Yep.
And the other one is, oh crap! I just looked at I just watched that. Just tell me. I don't want to waste too much time.
It was the Ricky Henderson.
Ricky Henderson.
And number 4 is also in this auction. It's the Joe Montana. Those are the 4 hardest gem grades to get out of the top 100 cards ever graded by PSA.
And again, you can buy your cards based on the grade, or you can buy them based on the card. Whenever these cards from the 80s, look at them before you decide to buy it just because of the holder it's in. And I'm not discouraging anyone from buying a pop 62 Jerry Rice PSA 10 card. I'm just saying that there are cases that exist. Some people might not realize this, but there are going to be PSA 9s that are nicer, better cards than some PSA 10s. And that's probably going to be the case in the Jerry. What you didn't mention was, and maybe it's because it's from the 70s, is the Wayne Gretzky rookie, where there's 2 PSA 10s. That's probably the lowest gem rate of all cards going back several years. And there are 9s that are nicer than the 10s. And that there's going to be 9s that are nicer than this Jerry Rice 10 and the Ricky Henderson and the Derek Jeter too. Make sure you're looking at the cards. Make sure you're looking at the cards when you're buying these, especially when you're putting out this kind of money. That's kind of my advice. But some people, their most important thing is competing on the PSA set registry, and that's worth more to them than having the better quality card. So, but that's fair. That's your approach. I'm not gonna, say don't do it. You're putting a lot of money in a lot of people's pockets going that way. So it's a good thing. I think it helps keep the hobby ecosystem running. Okay. Next row, Adam, an 85 star Michael Jordan, PSA 9. That's pretty spectacular. And I don't know if the 85s were harder to find in great condition than the 84s. We've got another 85 Jordan right here, and the infamous Johnny Moore 86 Fleer PSA 10 rookie. It's a common, but it's one of the I think it's the second toughest card to find in a PSA 10. It's at 15,000 right now, and that's about what these cards. This is actually at 18,000 now. The last several comps are in that $15,000 to $16,000 range, so this one's actually doing pretty well. Adam, what can you tell us, if anything, about these 85 Jordans from Star?
So neither one of them are like the main issue card. I can't see well enough to see what the flip says about that one. I can see it says last 11 ROIs. What's the other one say? All rookie team. So
all rookie first team. Yeah.
I didn't realize that PSA had started grading those, because I know they started on 84s. My guess is that, yeah, you can see it. The pop on these is really low because I don't think it's been very long since they started grading them. I actually have a couple of 85 Star Jordans that I need to get graded. So now I can send those in. That's really nice. But yeah, a 9 on both of those is pretty strong.
All right, let's keep on going. Here's an Allen Iverson Topps Chrome refractor rookie PSA 10 at 12,750, and we're gonna jump over Pokemon and come to a 2005 SPX SP Excitement Michael Jordan auto out of 5. It's a BGS 10 pristine. We got to look at that auto and see what's going on here. It is a sticker auto, so keep that in mind. Looks pretty good. I'd say there is ever so slight fading going on the auto. Card's beautiful though. 10, as we said, everything's a 10 except edges are a 9.5. Adam, what do you think about the Iverson and the Jordan?
The Jordan is interesting because it's as rare as it is, right? It's like a Jordan autograph out of 5 and 10-10. Kind of interesting. I think it's also cool that it's got a ton of holofoil going on. But it is the sticker of the 3 cards that are there. It's definitely the Iverson for me is my favorite.
Iverson, yeah. Is there some greening? Yeah, there is greening going on in the Iverson. Let's just point that out. You see it coming down the shoulders here, the chest of the teammate, down the arm here, the defender. Oh, that looks like a teammate actually. And then look at right on his hand here, shoulder, whole neck is green, the shoulder here as well. So it's an issue with those cards, but it's not a complete killer for me. Like, I probably save the money and buy a nice 8 type of thing. Okay.
So here's my question. Here's my question for you on it. If you had to determine now, as of today, what the grading companies ought to do about historical cards with greening or greening going forward, like, is there something that should be done that's not current? Because I have an idea. I just wonder do you have any ideas about like?
Yeah, I do. I do have an idea. I think it's a very difficult spot for them. They can only grade the card based on what they see at the time they grade it. I can't expect them to look into the future. So the only thing I would say is that somewhere on their pop report, there should be an asterisk that says, while the cards are graded in the condition based on what we see at the time we grade them, please note that certain cards with certain features like a refractor coating could go green over time. And if they were submitted back to us, we would likely give them a different grade than we did at the time we gave it. That's all they can do. That's all we can expect them to do. Now, if someone is going for a reholdering, I think the card company is obligated to change the grade on that card. You can't have it go through the company, the facility twice and not adjust the grade for a change in the condition of the card. Are we on the same page, or did you have any other ideas as well?
No, I totally agree with you about everything that you just said. The only other thing I'd say is, how we have like these secondary sort of like grade the grader, the Mike Bakers, the PSA, like, or the PWCC eye appeal stuff. Like, I would just like somebody to be able to say, as of a certain date, this is the greening grade we give it. Certain cards should have this is how we evaluate it as of a certain date. And you can, if you could have that, if you could sort of compare it or say, this is what it looked like when it was graded and here's what it looked like now. Or, and this is the other thing in the PSA, and we've been saying this for years, it would just be great if the PSA holder, if you could type that number in and you could see what date the card was graded. You can't do that. Some people can sort of back into it a little bit based on the cert numbers, but I just think there is an opportunity out there for somebody to devise a way to grade the greening effect. And I think that there's a demand for that because, as we talked about earlier with the Kobe, I think people care just as much about the color at this point than they do any other aspect of the card.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. All right. A couple comments on the Ace of Grade says, would a perfect refractor from that set still green over time? Some will, some won't. They don't all. That's my understanding. Brent says PWCC should add eye appeal grade based on greening. Yeah, of course they should. Of course they should. I agree with that. Vintage says the sale price of the night might be the Shaquille O'Neal PMG champ over 80,000. Wow, over 80,000. There it is right there in front of us, actually. Yes, it's at 84. Last I saw it, I think it was under 30K on the bid. So that there's a bit of a bidding war going on that one. He goes on to say, do the grading companies grade on color like that? They should be, Brent. They should be. Whether they are or not is another story, I believe. Wow, lots of stuff here. Okay, we're just gonna keep on going here. We've got a 97 finest embossed gold refractor Michael Jordan, numbered out of 74. This is in a BGS 9 holder, and it's at $18,000. Now let's look at it because I think we have greening on this card. Adam, is this is greening all through the legs? Pretty much he's all green, I think. Is that right? Or am I misseeing it?
I'm the colorblind guy, but
yeah,
to me he looks green too. And so, Jeremy, like, just to illustrate this point I was just making, of the 100 and whatever items that are up this week or this month at the Premier Auction, at least 3 of the cards have the issue of, is this card greening and how much is it greening? And some of us can just look at it and sort of say for ourselves, oh, this is how I would judge it. And that's how a lot of people just want to keep it, is they just want to judge it on their own. But I think it'd be really nice to have somebody independent be able to say, this is where this fits in the spectrum of other cards that are from the same set in terms of how green it is. This is a perfect example.
Yeah, listen, even though he's green, I still think it's a great card. I like this card a lot. I've never owned one. I believe I think if it's not a tier 1, it's definitely a tier 2 Jordan on the Cajun Cardboard Jordan hierarchy. It's a great card, very popular amongst Jordan collectors. And this one is currently at an absolute steal of a price. I would say, even regardless of if that's greening or not, we're at $18,250, which is about, call it $24,000 out the door. Comp wise, you guys, in BGS 9s, I found 4 comps. One of them was just last month in the Premier, $78,000 for a PSA 10. So sorry, it's a different grade. PSA 10 sold last month for $78K. In January, in the Premier, a BGS 9 sold for $43,200. This one's at $23K. In May of 2023, a BGS 9.5 did $48,000, and in December 22, a PSA 9 did $52,800. This one is sitting, I think it's the bargain card amongst those comps for now is this card right here. I'm going to let you talk this card, Adam. Well, I love this row. I love this whole row right here. Beautiful 2012 Immaculate Steph Curry patch auto, numbered out of 50. Let's take a look at the auto, but the patch is spectacular. Curry always leaves a nice autograph, nice image. I like everything about this card. We'll come back to it. And then the Shaquille PMG Champs, it's at $84K. 70 is the bid. PSA 9. This card is really unbelievable. A BGS 8.5 sold a month ago for $28,200. A BGS 8.5 sold on February 22nd for $28,200. This is a PSA 9. It's at 84. It's almost 4 times the price to go from a BGS 8.5 to a PSA 9. Okay. Another BGS 8.5 also sold last April for $20,400. So just to give you some other data points there. But this card here, Adam, do you know off the top of your head, is this game used memorabilia or is that non-game used?
Yeah, it's game used. It's first year of Immaculate.
Amazing.
Stellar Steph autograph and stellar patch. One thing I like about this one is you were talking earlier about how like the direction of the autograph, sometimes people don't like it when the autograph sits sideways. I think every other card from the set I've ever seen, the autograph is sat sideways, which I personally don't mind either. But because of the direction of Steph's auto, he said, I'll just sign it in the right direction, which is kind of cool because almost any other autograph, like if Jordan signed this, for example, he would definitely sign it, the other direction.
Yeah. Tom Newman says 14 rings on that row alone. Wow. I love it. I love it. That's great. I just want to welcome everybody who's here. We got over 100 people watching on YouTube, almost 50 people watching on X right now, and Instagram is harder to keep track, but I just want to say, I see some comments now. I have to look elsewhere for that, but welcome to the people that are watching on Instagram. And I know you guys kind of come in and out on there. So thanks for popping in and out for sure. Okay. And look at that. The Jordan Finest Embossed Refractor just got a bid. It's now up to $19,250. Couple more comments here. Wills is asking about Ohtani drama. Yeah, we'll leave that for now, but definitely something going on there. And Signed in Slab says, according to the IG chemist, the greening doesn't actually get worse, and he did some tests. Do you have empirical evidence that you can reference? And he's speaking, I believe, to Vintage, who says it keeps getting worse over time. And yeah, my understanding is that it doesn't as well get worse over time. I think it gets there and then it happens and then it stops. But I don't know. I don't have empirical evidence, nor have I run an experiment. So we'll see. Brent says Nat, that being Nat Turner of PSA and Collectors, has one that wasn't green and turned green while he had it in the safe, if I remember right. Yeah, it's not an issue of light on the card. It's the chemical composition of the refractor coating that, and yes, thank you, Brent, for clarifying, but I knew you were talking about that. Okay, next row, Adam. Next row. Second year Jordan Fleer. So it's funny to call second year when we had earlier Star Jordans above. Second year Fleer, Michael Jordan, PSA 10. I don't remember the pop on this, but it's pretty low, I think. 12,000.
It's like 200.
200, lower than his rookie card, which is 320 or so. This is a lower pop, PSA 10 for Michael Jordan. 12,500, which is 15K. Out the door, we have a 2017 National Treasures Black Box Mahomes 101 auto with a piece of jersey sitting at 78.75, and an Erling Haaland Museum Collection UEFA Emerald 101 auto with a patch. Really cool. Just take a look at that patch for a moment there, guys. That's a nice looking patch right there. Gorgeous auto on a sticker, 101 Erling Haaland. 3 baseball cards. Neither of our wheelhouses there, Adam, but we've got the Jordan Alvarez, we got the Freddie Freeman, and the Jackson Chourio Super Fractor 1 of 1. That's cool, no doubt. 16.5. The Jordan Alvarez is at a 25, BGS 9.5, pop 12, only one graded higher, and the Freddie Freeman is out of 50. Adam, any comments on any of these 6 cards that we kind of blew through here?
Brent said that Mahomes would not get a PWCC eye appeal for that patch. And the thing that I laugh about on that one is, like, there are patch cards and then there are jersey cards, and most of the auction houses have sort of gone to this format, and this includes PWCC, of calling any jersey piece a patch. It drives me crazy, but they all do it. And the reason why is that the hobby has moved in terms of the vernacular, the appropriate vernacular. Now people call jerseys patches and vice versa. Everything is a patch. Jeremy, that is a jersey card. That is not a patch card.
No, it's not a patch card. I agree. And that just might be a result of the pandemic and so many more people coming in and not knowing the vernacular and just defaulting to every piece of memorabilia is a patch. And maybe that gave the auction houses, I don't know if they're doing it to serve those people, like to make it easier for them to understand, or if they're finding that they can now over describe a card. I don't know which one it is, but to me, this is not a patch card. It's a jersey card. And I'm never going to change that. As Frankie says, that's a napkin, not even a jersey. Yeah. Napkin is like, that's the bad word we throw at one color jerseys, is a napkin patch, they call it.
But there's a place for them though, right? Like that's what we've called them in the past. They're jersey cards. And there was
then patches wouldn't be very special. Patches are
Right.
special because they're from a smaller part of the overall real estate available from the jersey. The card companies aren't going to throw out anything.
Right.
Right. They put buttons on. They put everything from the jersey on the cards nowadays.
I have a 97 Jordan game jersey card that is in just horrible condition, but I always wanted one. It's such a cool jersey card, and it is just plain white, and I love it. Like, it's great. And so this Mahomes, if you wanted a Mahomes like rookie autograph, like with a piece of the uniform, that's a really cool card. Just don't tell me it's a patch. It's a jersey card.
It is what it is, right? And speaking of jersey, if you look, this whole in my this showcase right here is all filled with napkin patch cards, simple one color jerseys. Well, a couple or two colors, but those are also from the first 2 years of jersey cards. But I don't mind them at all. I love them. I love them. All right, guys. Scottie Pippen PMG Red out of 90, BGS 6.5, 17,750. This is a great card, Adam, and it really looks nice. Let's take a peek at it. The weakness is edges at 5.5. That's where you want your weakness to be. And look at the bottom edge here. It's kind of crumbling right along here. That's what's killing the grade. But I mean, the card overall is still very nice, except for that it's similar to the Kobe Rubies, where the top right had an issue. And that graded a 5.5. At least this is a 6.5. And this is, I don't think it's much better than what we saw in the Kobe, but overall the card is awesome. That wouldn't stop me from owning this card, that down there. I don't mind that at all.
No, of course not. If this card was graded 5 years ago, Jeremy, it'd be an 8. Beckett and PSA both just completely changed sort of they moved the goalposts on how they graded the 90s cards, and they grade them so much harder. Look at the date on that. My guess is it was probably graded in the last 6 months. If you type that number into Beckett's website. And so I don't even think about the grade. What I think about is that red on the red. I mean, it's just a gorgeous card. But that row right there, the card next to it to me is the story, because
amazing.
In my research of this set, looking just at PWCC, not looking at the other auction houses, like, it has been years, and I'm talking like seriously like 5 years since a credentials from this set that's as rare as this card has sold at auction.
Wow.
And so the credential fans that are, Spinatron, people like that, they're all watching this card tonight, because you don't see cards this rare from this set move at public auction ever. Like, it just doesn't happen.
And as noted in the description, this is a pop 2 with none graded higher. So again, it comes down to just owning the card. Brent says, how is the color? Color looks fine to me. I don't see anything wrong with the color on this one.
I wonder, I had a couple people ask me this too, because it's yellow. Like, that's the way it's made. This is what this card, Brent, this looks exactly how it should. This isn't the base card of this. You might worry about yellowing because it's like a clear, but like on the credentials,
yellow. These are yellow cards.
It's a yellow card, but as Jeremy's saying, it's also the highest graded of this set. And so honestly, like I always make a list of like 3 or 4 cards that I'm watching. This is one of them.
As for this card, though, there is the reason why it's not graded higher is the bottom edge, guys. I mean, look at this. There's a big, like, what do we, flip up issue going on there, where I think it's so bad that there's even some color loss on the surface in play. A little chunk missing here, a chunk missing here, and a chunk missing here, as well as this line coming over the top. So that to me that's significant damage. And 6 might even be a generous grade because of that. That's bad, in my opinion. That's bad damage. I don't like that at all. So let me just say, though, like, this set, like, almost all of them have, like, I have a Stockton that I have the same card of Stockton. It's numbered to 27. It has the exact same issue. Like, really? all of these. It didn't happen. The futures too. The nows are the futures too. I don't know if it's as much on the futures. Like, I think I've noticed it more on the nows, but it's not as much in baseball and football,
But in basketball, they almost, I mean, you've heard Gene's story on this. They like almost said, we can't send this stuff out because it's got so many quality issues. Because think about all of the different levels to it. That cardboard of Barkley sits above the plastic. You've got like, I think she said there's 7 different printing processes on each one of these cards. Like, it's the hardest card to make ever. And so they had all of these issues as they cut the cards. And so again, I actually think, like, you're right. It's a flaw for sure.
Yeah.
But as far as like those cards go, that's about what you want right there.
Yeah. No, I don't love that issue on the bottom, but if they're all like that and it's the only choice you have, then if I was collecting this set or Barkley, I would add it to my collection and just be happy to own a copy regardless of the condition, for sure. Melted wax sports card says, no, I got to do the comment. I'm already into it. Says, beautiful card. Grade doesn't matter with the nows. It's all about having a pack pulled card. Yeah. When the print run is that low, I wouldn't say the grade totally doesn't matter. Okay, let me rephrase. I agree. The grade doesn't matter, but my liking of the card and why it's not what is the damage? What are the condition issues with the card? That does matter to me, but I think if it's about having the card or not having it, I'm going to probably take the card. Sorry, Adam, you wanted to jump in.
I'm sorry. I tried to start talking at the same time as you. If you were to just ask me right now, tell me the best Charles Barkley card in the world, I'd say the green. It's the green. It's out of 10. It's the best one in the world. This one,
second.
This one, other than some one of ones, I think this is number 2, man. I do.
Yeah, probably is. As Signed and Slab says, they must have used the O-Pee-Chee knives on those credentials. That's good. Tom Newman says the card seems kind of cheap. No, yeah, I mean, Barkley's no slouch in the hobby and in the the history of basketball. So yeah, that's a great card. Here's Chet, Adam. Let's move on to the Chet Net 2022 NT Gold patch auto. PSA 8 auto is a 10. Nice patch. What do you want to say about this one?
I already have talked about how much I like Chet. The card of the night for me, one of the cards of the night, maybe the card of the night's the Logo Man auto. I don't know what that's at. But this one, I mean, it's definitely cool. Out of 10, the gold's always really nice. Can you tell? Is this usually gold is holofoil? I can't really tell. Is that holofoil?
Doesn't seem to be. It does not seem to be holofoil to me.
That's too bad.
Yeah. But it might be. Maybe it is. All right, 3 baseball cards in a row here. Nice one. Bobby Witt Jr., Vladdy Guerrero Jr., a couple of juniors, and a Mike Trout. We got the Bobby Witt is the orange chrome refractor out of 25. The Vladdy is the orange refractor out of 25. So the same card as the Bobby Witt. And the Trout is the X-Fractor out of 225, BGS 95. The Witt is a PSA 10. I got to look at the way the autos laid down because I'm always so impressed with how Topps and Bowman does that. And this one looks very nice autograph. Let's take a look at the Vladdy here. Yeah, like these cards are made for ink. It's crazy. It's crazy how well they do. And then the Trout as well. We're gonna, just that's all I have to say about these. Adam, anything you want to add to these ones?
Just that there's not very many things in the hobby that are better than an autograph on a really like nice shiny refractor. I know I say that. It's especially that first one that you like, the Witt Jr. that you like zoomed in on. I just love that. I think it's so cool.
So cool. Melted wax. Yeah, that's DPZ, everybody. Good to see you, Dennis. Thank you for joining. Tom Newman says Adam is a Chetrosexual. That's hilarious. And Zach says, reminder, investors are finding out Chet does not have rookie patch autos and flawless. Another reason to gravitate to the NT. So
I didn't know that. Man, that's cool.
There you go. We got a Soto, we got an Acuña, and we got a Julio Rodriguez. We're going to continue on. We've got the Trevor Lawrence NT RPA out of 5, sitting at 12K. We've got another Curry flawless momentous numbered out of 20 with a patch and an auto. Let's take a look at the patch and the auto on this Steph here, Adam. The patch is cool. It's just cool. That's got to be the N from like right there in golden. And then we got the autograph, which is very nice as well. That's a classy looking card, isn't it? That's just nice hollow foil, a beautiful card right there. And we got a case of 2015, the Cup. That is the product that featured Connor McDavid's rookie year. So that's a great box of cards right there at 24,500. Adam, your thoughts on this row?
Well, I wanted to ask you on the case, are there obviously there's the rookie of McDavid, and I'm sure some of those are unaccounted for, but are there any other sets or big time cards that what could be in there that hasn't been discovered yet, I guess?
Well, there's limited logos, there's scripted swatches, there's signature patches, there's the exquisite stuff. I don't know what is still out there to be hit, a special 101 shield or anything like that. I think they've all been hit. I don't know how many of the 99 RPAs for Connor McDavid that have been pulled. I don't know what that is. I think it's a lot. I think more than 80, north of 80% have probably been pulled by now, maybe north of 90. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's still a great box right there. All right. Adam, I'm going to just turn this whole row over to you for now, if you're okay with that.
Oh, yeah, of course, man. So on the left, you've got the legendary fabrics, which I did not notice. Jeremy, I don't know if I've ever told you this before. I never noticed when I was looking at this set that the jersey pattern is actually the initials of the set, legendary fabrics, the LF.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
I don't know how I didn't notice it. I looked at them a million times, and then one day I sat there and I went, why does it look like that? Oh, it's the jersey. So obviously a nice, huge Jordan autograph, which is super nice. That's really all I have to say about that one. And then the other two cards, if you want to go back, the Wade gold older label. Again, I love that. PSA 10, other than his exquisite. And honestly, I'd rather have that than one of the exquisites out of 99. Some people will argue on that. I guess you could go either way, but this is obviously a rarer card, being out of 50. And then the last card is my favorite of the three by far. I've always said if I was going to get a LeBron limited logos, which I love because it is game used and it's from his rookie year. It's not the rookie card because it's not in the base set, but it is the rookie year card. I've always said I'd love to get one that has a really nice patch, but that has a lower grade. Because again, I just don't want to pay a ton of money for the grade. I want to get the card. And this is a great quality for somebody a great copy for somebody who wants those qualities.
Beautiful, beautiful patch for sure on that one right there. I want to point out on the D Wade here, it's a PSA 10, and just from it's not perfectly centered, which is well within the tolerance of PSA 10s are allowed to not be centered. It's not horribly centered by any means. It's still a very nice card, great eye appeal, but it is slightly off center to the left. So just be aware if you weren't able to notice that on your own, which most of you should. And then the LF here apparently also stands for LeBron's father, Adam. That's great.
Man, Thomas Newman is rolling tonight, man.
Tom Newman. Okay, let's talk about this Joe DiMaggio. This got called out way earlier on in the show tonight. We've been going for 2.5 hours already, Adam. It feels like 20 minutes. I tell you, this is so much fun. I love this card. I've never owned a copy of it. I have his 38 Gaudy, which I, for a long time considered his rookie. Now I realize it's not, but still it's the card I chose. This is a beautiful, iconic. This card is, I believe this card is just one of the best cards in the whole hobby. By best is such a, I don't like using the word best. One of the most beautiful cards in the whole history of the hobby. I absolutely love it. It's a PSA 5, looks every bit of a PSA 5 as it can be. There's some tilt going on, but I mean, just such a beautiful, beautiful image of Joe DiMaggio. $7,000 seems like a good deal to me for this card, Adam. Seems like a good deal. I love this card. I'm fighting not to bid right now because I'm just not in a position to spend $7,000 USD right now. But oh my God, it's hard not to go after this card because it is so nice. So nice. Oh gosh.
Is it the most iconic Joe DiMaggio card?
I think it is. The card of Joe that I own in my collection is it's the one with the bobblehead looking card. I'll show you. You'll recognize it.
Yeah,
I think
the 33 or 30,
38 Gaudy.
38
This one
Gaudy.
right here.
Yeah.
This is mine. I absolutely love this card. I would never sell this to buy that one over there. I would just own both. Like and I've owned this card now for 12 years, I think. Yeah, I'll never sell it. It's not a card that I'll ever sell. Hopefully I never need to sell it. This would be like, I would buy this card before I'd buy a card of a player I don't even have yet. Like, I love this card. This copy's phenomenal. My gosh.
Wait,
I don't know what else to
do
say.
you think this one's more iconic than yours?
I think it is.
You do? Okay. So
when the reason I say that, Adam, because you and I think about the vintage collectors that I travel in circles with. You travel in the same circles with these guys. They love the 41 play ball. Like, this one gets all the love. This card doesn't get the love. I give it this card as much love as that one, but not other people just don't as much. And look, it just gets a bid down over here. I love it. I love it. Like,
the reason that I ask is my single greatest regret as part of the iconic 100 was that we left that card off of the ballot. And we did all sorts of testing beforehand to make sure we had every card on the ballot that needed to be on there. And everybody we asked, nobody brought this one up, that it needed to be on there and that it was left
41.
off. The 41. Yeah.
Was the 38 on it?
Yeah, and it made the list. But the only card that I think could have made the list that we left off the ballot, the only card is that one right there. Because the same as you, Jeremy, I've talked to lots of vintage people. And as I've allowed myself to sort of like get inside the card, I get it. It's the color, it's the stance, it's every part of it. It's like, it's probably like, it's the color play ball card. Like, it's so many of those things. But I guess why I didn't initially think of it as we were putting it together is like, it's clearly not the rookie. There's so many cards that are made before it, but it has this following and love from people who love color and love vintage that I too have sort of been convinced that it sort of sits in a place that was higher than I sort of previously.
Yeah. It's just like you mentioned, the pose he's in, the follow through on the swing, the colors, as Ace of Grades says, Joe looks like he's playing on the field of dreams in that picture. Beautiful. I couldn't say it better, Ace of Grades. I completely concur. David from Sign and Slab says, Opeachy DiMaggio is the one I'd want if I was Jeremy. Well, you're not me, David, and I don't want that one. Followed closely by the Z-Nuts. Now, is the Z-Nuts an oversized card? If it is, I disqualify it immediately for myself. It might not be. I'm not too familiar with Z-Nuts, but this is the one I have is my first favorite. This is my second, and I love both of them. Vintage says extra meaning on the DiMaggio because 41 was the season of the hitting streak, and as Adam said, that is pretty cool. Doesn't hold much weight in the hobby though, but it might, but it doesn't. But sorry, it might, but not as much as it could, is what I should say. I think the card's awesome. The other thing is that the 40 play ball, like the 41 play balls, are so much nicer than the 40s because color. The 40s didn't have it, right? So it's just a great card. Sign and Slab says Jeremy doesn't like Canada. Confirmed.
if we can always have, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I'll tell you, I didn't like it too much this morning when I woke up to about 8 inches of snow on my driveway. And that wasn't fun to clear out today before Amazon made their multiple deliveries to the house and taking the kids to school and all that. Sorry, Adam, you were saying.
I was just going to say the chat's been great. If we could have David and Thomas Newman on every chat always, that would definitely work out for us. But seriously, guys, great comments. And what Jeremy and I always talk about whenever we get done is, man, the chat, it was this or it was that. Like, you guys make the show. So thank you so much for the awesome comments.
Yes, I concur for sure. Okay, let's go.
Well, did we talk about the Tatum? I don't think we talked about the Tatum.
Oh, we didn't do the Tatum. You talk about the Tatum for a second, and because I'm gonna Warrior Kid says not familiar with the iconic 100 that Adam is talking about. So will you talk about it? I'll grab the book. I have it right over here, like okay, cool. Literally not even a step away. See, there's my hand. I'm grabbing the book. And there it is. Awesome. I got it right off my shelf. This is what we're talking about. The iconic 100 book that really Adam put together for PWCC. and it just goes through the top 100. And I don't even think you can get this book, Adam. Can you even find this book?
No, we only printed a couple hundred copies of it. We should have printed more because we had hundreds of people asking if they could buy it, but just wasn't the main thing that PWCC was trying to do at that point. And it's a lot of work to distribute that sort of thing. So I understand, but we interviewed a couple hundred people, asked them to rank what they thought were the top 75 cards of all time. Several people who are in the chat right now were part of the rankings. Jeremy did his list. And then in the end, we aggregated all of that and said, okay, what does the final list look like? We counted it down from 100 to 1. And there's a lot of things that we learned. It wasn't perfect, but directionally and from the perspective of like, this is how people perceive these cards, I think it was super valuable. And when we do it again, it'll be better. And I think it will happen again here sometime.
And it's a fluid list, right? These things are subject to change. And that was based on only the people who responded and you guys thinking what you did at the time. It's not like it's law. It's not like you can't have a different opinion. Of course you can. It's just a nice book. It was a fun list and a fun exercise. But Adam, please talk about the Tatum.
Yeah. So if you're a big basketball card collector, the first thing that you notice when you look at this Tatum is that it looks just a little bit different than most NT Tatums do. And that's because it's the first off the line. And this year, I don't think this is true of every year, but this year, 2017, the first off the line cards had a different image of the player on the card. And so that's why it stands out as different. I love the first off the line because it's significantly rarer than the regular rookie. And most of all, Jeremy, you know what I'm going to say? I just love the holofoil on the card.
Yeah.
It brings it together in a way that's just so much nicer than the regular one does out of 99. And a lot of times they don't sell for that much more. And so, if you believe Tatum, who is on, by the way, easily the best regular season team in the league right now, like if you believe they're going to go win this thing this year, like that's one of the Tatum cards.
And there you have it. And right in the middle, we had a Pete Rose 79 tops PSA 10 at 6,750, and that must be a very low pop card. So
does that one surprise you? Just seeing that in the premiere, like
yeah, because it's not his standard base card from the set, I don't think, or maybe it is. And they just added the NL All-Star. I'm sure Signed and Slabbed or one of the vintage card in there can let us know. Is that his only base card in the set for Pete Rose? Or is it a subset for the All-Stars from that year? I don't know the answer.
It's got to be super low pop, though, to be a premier card.
I'm going to check the pop right now just for fun because I am curious.
Got to be less than 10.
Oh, it's not less, but it's close. The pop is 16. It's a pop 16. And I'm curious now on the total number of submissions. And because it's number 650, it's going to take me a minute to find. I don't think I'm going to bother looking for it, but there you have it. It's Rose's base, says Jeff Derrico. So thank you, Jeff. That makes it that much more important. If this is his base card, this is really it's a pop 16, and the Pete Rose set registry guys, this is a very important card. No, it does not surprise me that it's at that price at all.
I get that. And even in non-baseball cards, like the comp on that would be something like a 79 Julius Erving in a PSA 10. That's huge money. I get it. It makes sense.
Warrior Kid says, very nice looking book. I'll have to keep an eye out for it. Maybe it will pop up on eBay. That's probably your best bet, actually, is that. Okay, let's go to page 2. Let's see what's on page 2. There should only be 12, so 16 cards on here. We're going to go through these relatively quick. 06, Topps Chrome, LeBron Gold Refractor, PSA 9, well, 38K.
Yeah,
that's a major card here on the last page of the auction. Pop 4, none higher. Beautiful card, beautiful image. I really like this card, Adam. And then we have two flawless diamond cards. The 1/1 Curry is the black diamond, and then the Curry also a 1 of 1. Wow. Oh, one's from 2014, one's from 2015. They're both PSA 10s. They're both at similar prices, $41.50 and $45.50. Adam, over to you to tell us about these three.
Well, the LeBron stands out and is priced the way that it is because of how rare it is in comparison to the other golds. So you've got several people out there right now putting together the gold LeBron run or the gold whoever run, right? People do it in Prism. People do it in Topps Chrome. In Topps Chrome, LeBron has gold refractors from 03, 04, 05, 06, 08, so skip 07, and 09. I argue that this is the second best one next to the 03 because it's the rarest. The 03 is the rookie. This one's numbered out of 25. Everything else is numbered out of 50 or 99. And it is a freaking awesome image of LeBron. I mean, it's just a gorgeous card. It's also the rarest, like I said. And so for that reason, it's priced like it is. But somebody asked earlier, I think it was Thomas Newman asked, what's going to sell for more, that or the O2? The O2 for sure, because the O2 is just as rare. And that's the first big time LeBron card.
Is that Gary Payton?
Yep.
Who's that? Do we know?
I think it looks like Zoe. Does that look like Miami, maybe? I don't know that jersey, but I know that Peyton and Zoe both played on Miami.
Yeah. Well, Ace of Grades says great info on that stuff, Adam. Thank you, Ace of Grades. And David lets us know with respect to the Pete Rose that it is the base, as we also heard from Jeff Derrico, but also says that it's just 16 out of 2,800 subs. So that's under 1%, well under 1%. Alonzo Mourning and Peyton on there with LeBron. Yes. Okay. Next row, we've got a Charizard. We've got, oh, you love this card, Adam. This isn't number 1 of 25, I don't think, but you love this card. And then we got an Aaron Judge gold refractor. Beautiful card, PSA 10 at 15K. The Charizard's at 28 for the CGC. But Adam, I know you're going to want to talk about this card, so I'm going to let you do that.
We just talked about it just a little bit. It's the first big LeBron card, right? It's the XRC. So O2 came out of a redemption. We actually ran a story in Basketball Card Fanatic recently about somebody who has a redemption from this. Jeremy, it's so cool. It's a redemption, but on the back, it has a return to sender because somebody sent the redemption in to Topps sometime after the date that it was due, and Topps just sent it back and stamped it, return to sender. They didn't fulfill the redemption. Now here it is, a $72,000 card. Boy, what an unfilled what an unfilled redemption that was. But yeah, the first big LeBron card. It's awesome.
Awesome. We have a Derek Jeter, high school, Little Sun High School, PSA 10, autographed. I like where he placed the autograph here, actually. He did a really nice job autographing this. Just tucked it in there. It's a little streaky, but that's okay. It's an authentic auto. Pretty cool card. Cool for what it is. I'm not going to say that I like the looks of this thing. It's a little saved by the bellish to me, but it's still kind of cool. We got, what's this? This is the Aaron Judge orange refractor chrome from Bowman Chrome Draft, BGS 9.5 out of 25, 17,500. And a lot of 24 Mariano Rivera cards right here. I'm not sure what this card is, Adam, but it seems to be, well, I can tell you exactly what it is, actually, because it says right here, 1990 Diamond Cards, Tampa Yankees. All right, good stuff. All PSA 10s. Looks a lot like, what's that, 88 Fleer?
88 Fleer. Yep, I thought the same thing.
Looks a lot like that to me. And maybe that's where they got the inspiration from, right? Yeah, that's where they got it from. All right, just a few more cards to go through. We have another Charizard. We got another Tatum. A beautiful Magic card here, Adam, with the awesome die cut shape for the jersey piece that's in there, which is yellow, which is better than white, of course. It is Lakers, so it's going to be yellow. Really nice card. We've seen this card before, Adam. Anything you'd like to tell us about the Titleists? Titleists are so cool. They made them in hockey too, but please, Adam.
Yeah, they did this set 1 year. I was telling a friend that if there's one Magic Johnson exquisite card to buy, this would be the one, in my opinion. Some people would want the more recognized inserts like the limited logos from 03 or the number pieces from 03 that are far more plentiful. But this card you can see right there, right towards the bottom of Magic, right under his jersey number is number 4 of 5. The 5 is there because he won 5 championships. You can see the 5 championships listed out to the far left. Right
there. Look at that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The other thing that I would say, because I've held either this card in my hand or one of the other 4, is that you get this card in hand, and the first thing that you notice, that whole circle around Magic is holofoil. It's pretty cool. It's a cool looking card in hand. Also, the patch window, that really cool NBA trophy part, that is holofoil around it. And so it's a great looking card, but for me, the bigger thing is it's like the rare exquisite set that has exquisite doesn't have like a whole lot of like sort of alternative or not alternative, but like unique numbering systems. That's not really what exquisite did. I guess they did that around the rookies, like the rookies, their serial number to the jersey number and to the number pieces. But this is the number of championships. They only did it once. It's only in 04. And so that's why I think it's a really cool card.
Yeah, they did the same thing in hockey, Titleist, and the amount of Stanley Cups a player won was what the card was numbered to.
Did they just do it once? Did they just do it once?
Once, I think just once. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Titleists are pieces of art, says Frankie Gonzalez. Very nice. Oh, the professor has moved over from IG to YouTube. Welcome to YouTube, Professor, for sure. TCG Sports Cards says if the last time a card was sold.
Are we done?
Yeah, we're done. How did that happen? We're done.
We stopped watching. Yeah. We didn't get through. We had like 4 cards left.
we had these 3. We had 4 cards left. We missed the Jordan Pro signs here. We missed this awesome Tiger Woods card.
I know.
We missed the Battle Road Toad here and a Shohei. We didn't. Wow. Yeah, we didn't even get to see what other. Wow, so many good cards tonight. The conversation just wouldn't stop flowing. Right. Let me do TCG's comment. If the last time a card was sold was in 2021, does that mean that the value is 100% less than what it sold for since 2021 was the peak? I don't think you can call that a general rule, TCG, but you can triangulate that, I think, and try to look at similar cards from the same set or cards from that player and trying to figure that out. I don't know that that's going to work every time. Some cards sell for more now than they did in 2021. That's just the fact. So it's not going to be a rule that you can apply unequivocally. Professor says, great content. I've always liked both of your IG posts pre-PWCC Premier. Thank you, Professor. Okay, so now that this is over, Adam, let's go back to page 1 and let's just sort this by highest price and go through and see what kind of snuck up in price that we weren't able to revisit because we've been so busy talking to the chat and going through all these cards. And look at that. The Rubies end. So what did I say? I said I could see it being 270, 280. You said it could be anywhere from what it was at 220 all the way up to 450. It sells for 300, which is, I believe, 250,000 on the bid and the buyer's premium. So 300K on the PSA 9 Jordan Rubies. And again, we hadn't seen it. There's no comps for PSA 9. So this was a discovery type of auction. The Steph Curry RPA out of 25 sells for 288. That seems pretty healthy to me, Adam, doesn't it?
We've seen some of those sell lower. That's such a nice patch and auto combination like we talked about. But I agree. I think that's a pretty nice, healthy sale.
Yeah. And then the Trout, Trout goes for $216,000. I'm surprised to see such money still going into Mike Trout. He seems to have the shine seems to have been worn off of him just as far as, the sport goes. But that might be a false perception I have. I'm not sure. And I don't know that you are a baseball guy either. So Warrior Kid says, are there any cards you are looking for to get for yourselves? Yeah, I'm going to be looking at those 41 play ball DiMaggios now, but I honestly, Warrior Kid, pretty much every card in this auction that that isn't Pokemon is something that I know some of these minus the prospects as well. Yeah, pretty much all of them would be welcome in my collection. Deep Value guessed 2 to 220 on the red Trout. You nailed it, Brent. You nailed it. Look at that. 4th place is a Pokemon card, 216K. The Kobe does 168. Adam, that just goes to show how important a non-greening copy is, and hopefully this copy never greens for its new owner.
Didn't you say the last one went for 96?
I think that's what I said. Let me see if I can. Yeah. So this is the Topps Chrome PSA 10. The last one, actually, in January of 2023 was the last time this card sold at 156. So this card's actually, now I don't know if that one had greening or not.
No, you said, I thought you said last month one sold for 90 something. Didn't you?
On the Kobe,
I thought you said that. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought you said we talked about it last month, but maybe I'm mistaken.
I must have been talking about a different card because my notes that I have do not reflect that.
Okay, my bad.
It's okay. There was some similar. Anyway, no. The last one sold for 156 in January of 2020. Actually, sorry, that's not the last one. Okay, Adam, you're right. You are right. You can come away from your phone. You are right. Last month, a PSA 10 and this card sold for $96,000. It had significant greening. I was looking at the wrong. Yeah, my bad.
75% more for a good color copy. Like that's not a small deal. I honestly thought it would be more. I did, but almost twice as much is not a small deal.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And that just goes to show how important greening or lack of it is, and how important it is to not, when you're buying a refractor, you have to look past the grade. You have to. And I think people are. That's why last month it sold for 90, or January sold for 96K. Here we are 2 months later, 168. It's pretty clear. And look at that. Right beside it, the Jordan PSA 10 does 168. Not too bad. The Chet Logo Man 101 does 144, Adam. And look at what finally we know what the LeBron Bronny 101 does, $114,000. Now, is this, I don't know, what were the hobby opinions out there? Did anyone make guesses on what this was going to sell for?
I didn't hear anybody talk about it.
Did anyone say it's $1 million card kind of thing?
I don't know that. I didn't ever hear anything like that.
I don't know if I did either. The Mahomes does 90. The LeBron limited logos from the first year of Exquisite, 90,000. The nice PSA 3 Mantle with the bangled corner does 84K, and 84K is what the Shaquille O'Neal PMG champ does. That's pretty cool. David lets us know estimates for the dual LeBrons, the dual Bron Bronny, the dual James. Anyway, 225K were the estimates, and it does 114, about half that. So the interesting thing from David's comment here is, and that has nothing to do with David, is who made these estimates. I don't know who David, who he saw make these estimates, but who made them, and that would be interesting to me to know, just to have some context around it.
The Shaq, off the top of my head, and I could be wrong about this, I think that's the second highest price ever paid for Shaquille O'Neal. The first being the green that moved 2 years ago-ish, sold for 130, 140, something like that. I don't think anything else has come close to this, though. And again, going back to our comments earlier on the Rubies Jordan, the grade, the high PSA grade on the rare card shows again to really matter a lot, because you pointed out the last one was a BGS 8.5, sold for 1/3 the price. That's not a small deal. Big deal.
Yeah, agreed. And on the Shaq, the last copy of this card just sold in January for $28,200, but it was a BGS 8.5.
That's what I just said. You weren't listening. That's what I just said.
I wasn't. I thought you were talking about the Kobe for some reason.
No, I was talking about that Shaq. 28 grand for the 8.5.
Sometimes I just like to make sure everyone hears you, Adam.
It's okay. I know I can throw it on and on a little bit, but I just said that.
I thought you were talking about the Kobe for some reason. I don't know why. I apologize for that. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know about you. Maybe you just said this too. I'd take the BGS 8.5 and save all that money all day long and go buy myself the DiMaggio and, hey, maybe a Mantle too. I don't know.
So, all right. So who do you think, I guess, without you're not saying names, but what kind of collector bought this Shaquille O'Neal?
Somebody who cares more about the grade than the card.
Somebody's putting together the set,
or putting together the set on the set registry. And I don't hold that against somebody, because it's oh, and it's also you think there's any premium because it's 23 of 50, which is Michael Jordan's number? No, I'm just kidding. Listen, their grading scarcity has taken the hobby by storm for years now. So personally, I've gotten away from it for how I collect, but I get that that's what people want, the grade. they care as much, if not more, about the grade on the label than what the card itself looks like. And that's because we live in a competitive society. And you know, if I was 100% certain that this PSA 9 was nicer than that BGS 8.5, I would think, well, you know what? You pay for quality. That goes in all industries and in all consumer goods. So I get that. I'm just not convinced without looking at, and I haven't looked at them. Maybe the buyer of this is. I'm just not convinced that I'd have to look at them to convince myself that this is nicer than a BGS 8.5 because grading is so subjective.
Well, I think the other thing that happens here, and this is really an interesting psychological sort of consideration. I own the, you know this, I own the Jordan of this. It's a BGS 9. It's one of my most valuable cards, if not my most valuable card, right? But you can bet that when I see a Shaq that's a PSA 9 sell for this, and then we also recently saw a Jordan PSA 8 sell for more than a Jordan BGS 9, like within a month or so of each other, you can bet that I look at my BGS 9 that I'm grateful for and I love and I think it's the most wonderful card. But I look at it and I think, is there a chance I can get that into a PSA 9 holder? Because the reality is, Jeremy, it might be worth twice as much or maybe more if it is in a PSA 9 holder. And that psychology makes people who don't even care, because I do not care about the slab. I just don't. But it makes people like me say, maybe I need to go cross that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially if you're going to sell it, put it in that, you know, PSA slabs sell for more than BGS, even in lower grades at times. John, the basketball card guy, says, I was just speaking with the guy who pulled the LeBron Bronny. He's super happy with the result. He paid $140 for the box and turned that into a $114,000 card. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Congratulations, John. Let him know we here, Adam and myself from the PWCC show, we're happy for him. We congratulate him. Zach says PSA is better than BGS on 97 PMG. Trust me. And I do trust you. I do trust that to be the case. I just don't, I don't believe that it's going to be the case in 100% of instances because, again, just too subjective, too many different graders coming through at different times over the years. But generally speaking, I'm sure that is true. Cassidy says if you had 10K estimated value modern card, if you had a $10,000 modern card with no comps, would you sell in the PWCC Premier Auction or the weekly? It has been approved for either, but not sure what would be best. I might go, I don't know. I might go weekly. Because there's, well, I don't know.
It's tough.
I really don't.
I could go either way on that. I think it depends on the card. And when you say 10K-ish, modern card helps, but like how rare is it? How much? Like there are people who look through every single card in the Premier, like a lot of people. And then for the weekly, there most of the time people are searching by their player or by their set because nobody's looking through 10,000 cards every week. Nobody, right? Maybe some people, but not very many people are. So
Rookie auto immaculate, he says.
I don't know. I could go either way probably too. I don't know.
Well, we've got some votes. Stein and Slab says I do weekly. Jack says weekly. So a couple of votes for weekly. Jack says weekly basketball does well. TCG has a question. If you guys had a PSA 1 Kobe PMG, would you sell it as a 1 or crack it and sell it?
I never crack slabs. I never crack slabs. It's just not what I do.
I'd leave it. Jack says, yes, weekly basketball does well. Jordan Riker votes for weekly. He knows his cards. Ace of Grade says weekly. So there you go. Everyone's saying weekly. Cassidy, there I think would probably be your answer in this case. David said, with respect to the weekly, I look through all 10,000 cards, but I'm a psycho. Yeah, that's a lot. Wow, where do you find the time? So many cards to look through. We're going to scroll up here and just kind of let everybody see what cards were in the auction tonight. There's the Kobe. Rubies does 17,700. Johnny Moore does 18,000. That's a pretty high price compared to recent comps. The McDavid Ice Premiers does 19,200. A steal of a card right there. Beautiful Luka Flawless 18,600. Continuing up, the Barkley does 20,700. The Brady does just under 20K. The Mantle rookie does 21. The Scottie Pippen PMG Red does 21.3. Star 101 Jordan PSA 7 does 21.6. The Gretzky rookie PSA 8.5 does 24,600. This amazing Babe Ruth card does 27. The Tiger Woods 26.4. The LeBron PSA 10 refractor 26.4. Soto 27.6. Jordan rookie 28,200. The Gold Finest Embossed refractor 29. The Brady Expos card does 30,000. The Magic Johnson Titleist 31.8. The pristine LeBron refractor 32. The Joe Montana PSA 10 does 32.7. I mean, this card was doing 66, 70 grand, about 65 grand a few months ago, maybe a year ago or so. The Jordan does 34.8, that amazing auto card. This LeBron gold refractor does 45.6, Adam. Not a bad result there. The Trout gold out of 50 does 36K. Kobe exquisite limited logos 48,000. The Jerry Rice PSA 10 pop 62 does 54K, and the Kobe first year limited logos does 66. Acuña 66. Connor McDavid Cup RPA gold out of 1269. The LeBron does 72. 84 on the Mickey, 84 on the Shaq, 90 on the LeBron rookie year limited logos. It feels like these would have done like in the $300,000 range back in at the peak, Adam, right?
Maybe not a 7, but yeah, for sure. Like a higher grade copy. I think, but yeah, at some point that was probably a 150, 200. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was 250 or 300.
Crazy. Mahomes does 90. The dual LeBron Bronny 114. The Chet 144. And then we've already looked at these ones, but there you have the top 3 of the night, guys. Is the Michael Jordan Rubies does 300K. That's respectable. As is the Steph Curry NT gold RPA out of 25. And then the Trout red refractor does $216,000. And again, this exact same card sold in October 2020 for $1,080,000. Somebody just saved themselves $850,000 by buying it today instead of in October of 2020. Congratulations to them. The professor says this seems like a good pickup for someone. The 48 Leaf Babe Ruth PSA 6 76.50. I'd say so, Professor. That does seem like a good let's go down and find that. And I also want to see what the Joe DiMaggio ended up selling for that I just fell in love with.
What did the Barkley go for? You just went past it.
Just under 20, I think. 20,700. 20.7. And we're just looking for the Babe and the DiMaggio. I don't think I've passed them yet. Maybe they're both on page 2. Let's see here. There's the DiMaggio, does 91.50, and the Babe does 76.50. Yeah. Oh, wow. Amazing cards. Thank you, Brent. Appreciate it. He says he doesn't think that 1 million comp was ever paid. What you think, I hear you, but do you know it, or do you think it, or did you hear something? Because that doesn't tell us much, Brent, but if you have some evidence of such, that would be a much more valuable comment, I would say. Okay, Adam, we're 3 hours. It goes by like that. What a fun night. I don't know. I like the show tonight because it just felt like there was so much to talk about. So many great cards and so much great chat too. So yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. Thank you.
As always, Jeremy, it's great to. I think I can speak for everybody and just say, like, I enjoy when you like geek out, when you open up a card, you start like just you hit all the key spots on the card, and you walk everybody through. Here's how I think about it, and you're really honest about it. Sometimes I can say, hey, don't be so negative. But you're good. You're honest about those things. And I just love the conversation. And then the chat, everybody in the chat was fantastic tonight. It was one of our really good chats. Sometimes we get a few more people in the chat and a few more comments, but I always love it when people come with their different things. The story for me tonight is definitely the Jordan and the Curry, but I love seeing where the Holmgren ended up too. I thought it would get overlooked, and now I don't feel so much like it did. And then the Barkley, that's the one card that I look at and I go, 20 doesn't feel crazy to me on that. To have a player like him, one of his best cards for 20 grand, that feels like that was a pretty good deal for somebody, especially when we just don't ever see those move. Deep Value pointed out that another one of those sold at another auction house not that long ago. It was an authentic holder. But it's interesting that we got two right in a row after not seeing one for years. We had two really close to each other. It's kind of interesting too. So
yeah.
Anyway, those are some thoughts from me.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for the comments, Adam. I appreciate them, and I'll pay you one back. You add so much context to these cards, so much knowledge, especially on the basketball cards. I got to say, you've actually added knowledge on others because you're doing all your reels and you're studying so much more. So it's so much fun and great to continue to learn from you. So please don't stop. It's valuable to me, and I'm sure so many of us, what you're doing. Yeah, the chat was awesome tonight. Story of the night to me, I got to tell you, I'm just glad that this card is done with. I'm glad that John, basketball card guy's friend, hit the lottery on this card and made out like a bandit, 114K. Congratulations to that person. But it's just nice that, this card that was the talk of the hobby for so long is now, we might see it again next month. Who knows? Hopefully we don't. We might. But it's just nice to get this card behind us. In my opinion, I'm glad that one is in the past.
You know what I'd like to see on that card is I'd like to see us not see it or hear about it for years. I'd like to see Bronny have a real NBA career, and then I'd like to see it pop up at some point. I mean, it doesn't have to be in 20 years, but like in 10 years after we find out that Bronny is good. Like that he's like legit going to have a real good NBA career, and then have it pop up and have everybody go, oh, that was the first time those guys signed together. Like that's really cool. And it's a super fractor. And I'd like to see how the hobby would react to that. But sometimes, and this goes to Zach Swisher's comment here. Sometimes we see the rarest cards move in succession really quickly. And that it's just such a killer. I hate it when that happens.
This comment here from Zach says, I would love to hear your guys' take on if we would be better off limiting how often a card can sell. I staunchly disagree with that. And it's simply because of if I'm the guy who owns the card and I need money and I can't sell it because someone sold theirs a month before I did or whatever, that's just in a capitalistic society like ours, that just doesn't fly. You have to be able to sell whatever you own whenever you want it, regardless of what other people did with their similar pieces. So I listen, there was talk way back during the rush that, the auction houses were selling too many of this card, too many of that card. The auction houses are there to serve the consigners. The consigners decide when to sell a card, not the auction house. If the auction house wants to turn away that money, that revenue, that's not good business for them. So while I don't love that some of these cards just keep on getting recycled, while I don't love that, there's no way you can stop it. There's just no way you can stop it. And I don't think it's fair to stop it. Doesn't mean I like it. I don't like it, but to stop it is like, it's a ridiculous concept to me.
The only regulation that I agree with around that is what all the auction houses do, which is limit like the number of specific items within the same auction that are selling. Like 2 Jordan PSA 10 number 57s, we probably don't want those in the same auction. And I can totally understand the reason for that. But I'll give you another example, Jeremy. We didn't see a Ricky Henderson PSA 10 rookie move in a long time. And then within about 2 months, we saw 3 move. This was just in the last few months at the different auction houses. And that's really a weird thing when that happens. Like I don't know why. I don't know if it was one person who split it up amongst the auction houses or if just 3 different people at the same time decided to do it. Because remember, that's like a pop 20 something card. That shouldn't ever happen. It should just never happen. But it did. And what do? Like, do you just say, well, you can't sell the one just sold, or you can't list yours yet, that one's still up? There's no question that when one goes up, the other one that was already up at auction is going to not do as well now because that other one's there. It's likely to not do as well, but you can't stop people from selling their cards.
No, because you take one guy out of the market. He's got his now, so now you're down to the second highest bidder, and that's why cards go up and down in value. You don't see it for a while, everyone wants it. Somebody sees one just sold, I'm going to sell mine. Well, yeah, but that high bidder is out. Now you're dealing with the next guys who are willing to pay the next amount of money, and the card comes down and down in value until there's a stoppage of availability. But there's just no way. And Zach says here, I agree with the freedom for sure, and that's really what I'm talking about. Just don't like seeing it a PSA 10 Jordan sell a few times a month. I completely agree with. I don't like it either, but you can't stop it. You just can't. Michael Steinbergs, thank you for being here, says, great show, guys. Brent says, Jay Lee made me want to buy that 41 Joe. Did you buy it, Brent? If you did, I want to buy it from you. Mike Nunya says, great show. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Lakers exquisite. Thank you, Mike. I didn't know that was who you were. Thank you, Mike. Ace of Grades. It was his first time tuning into the PWCC Live. It was fun to hear you guys talk about the cards. Great show. Thank you, Ace of Grades. Tom Newman says, watch LeBron buy that dual Bron Bronny and it blows up even more. Yeah. Maybe we won't stop seeing it if he puts it on a chain and starts wearing it in and out of the on and off the ball court, right?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? That would be amazing.
Well, okay, I'll come back to something in a minute. Sign and Slab says, just remember, the auction houses don't always tell you if there's a direct competitor in an auction offering the same card. Ace of Grades said, the right cards will rarely pop up either way. You can't really force a card to become scarce. Yeah, you can't force people when. But and then Zach, sorry, go ahead.
But having said that, I think that's one of the big things that we've learned as a hobby over the course of the last few years is that people, like, there's this risk that somebody else is going to sell that same thing. And so I feel, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I feel like that's why there's been this flock to really like lower production, lower pop things, because people don't want to own a card that you're seeing sell as much. And because some people are turning so fast, the lower the quantity should mean the lower that we see those things sell.
Yeah. I just got to shout out everybody we got 60 people watching on X right now and about 70 on YouTube. So the Twitter audience or the X audience is really growing, which is nice to see. I think it's been growing. And then Zach Switcher says maybe Kevin O'Leary bought it. That's what I was just going to say a minute ago. You talk about celebrities getting involved and people with real influence over other people with real money. Kevin O'Leary fits that bill more than a Gary Vee does, or more than a lot of these other sort of influencers do. Kevin O'Leary might be the biggest influencer or the most influential with big money people influencer to come into the hobby ever. And he seems to be in it. He was just on an airplane with Shine, who I've never met Shine. I don't know who he is. I don't know how he gets on an airplane with Kevin O'Leary, but it is what it is. I don't know that anyone's really talking about that right now. That could be for people, for the pump and dump community. I'd be watching that, for people who keep their eyes on these things. I keep your eyes on the Kevin O'Leary thing, not because of anything bad, but just because I think he can move the market. I think he can move the market. So
I think people aren't talking about it, Jeremy, because they saw what it was like last time we had a string of these types of events, and then they saw what happened afterwards. I think people feel jaded by it. But what's really interesting about that is like that doesn't just because that's what happened last time doesn't mean that's exactly how it goes this time, right? If you had a bunch of people jump in that were well-known, famous sort of celebrity types that are sort of like shining a light on the hobby, it wouldn't go down the same way as it did last time, because I think a lot of people have learned their lessons, and it may sort of.
Well, I think that the people that Kevin O'Leary would be the people that would be listening to him, because he He talked about it as an alternative asset. It's the one to be investing in. He said it out loud. It's on video. People that listen to him are different than the people that are following Gary V on Twitter. It's just a different, it's just a different group of people,
Right.
a different demographic, a different income level as well. So I think that the people that are going to come into the hobby, and there will be some, even if it's just one, he will bring some people in who haven't been in it before, at least since they were kids. I also don't think that they're the people who are going to come in and are going to be flashing it on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube and all that and following all the content like some of us do. I think you're talking about people that are looking to invest. It's investors. We're going to see investors coming in. I think we'll see more than 0 investors coming in.
Oh, for sure.
Couple quick comments here. First of all, will we both be at the National? Yes. Professor says Kevin is Canadian. Yes, he is. Warrior says, is he a good person to have in the hobby? Depends what area of the hobby you're in. If you're trying to collect cards, probably not, because he could push the prices up with his reach. But if you're in the business of selling or the auction business, yeah, he's a good guy to have in the hobby. TCG says he's an MJ guy. Sign us up doesn't mean they're smart. No, it doesn't. But the people with the real money, I mean, it's hard to get real money. And by real money, I mean 8-9 figures. It's hard to do that being stupid. It really is. Tom Newman says we're going to see Kurt's Card Care on Shark Tank now. Maybe. Professor says Kevin has lots of experience of offering ETF investments as a track record. Yeah, he could try to find a way to really make it more like an actual investment. Ace of Grades says, if I was a billionaire, I'd hire you guys to consult me on cards. Appreciate that, Ace of Grades. And Zach says, didn't want to extend the conversation out too long. Thanks for commenting. You're welcome. And we'll leave it at that. Adam, thanks for joining me tonight. Chat, you guys were always great. Thank you for being here and really toughing it out the whole time. We're 3 hours and 15 minutes. We still have, I'm showing 58 people on X, 72 on YouTube. We got some Instagram's hard to keep track of, but thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you, Adam. We'll be back next month. So that's it. Adam, say goodbye and we're going to end this.
Goodbye. You're all the best.
With that, guys, this episode of the PWCC Premier Auction Ending Watch Party is now over.